No? We're not?
Bye. Have some rum.
Come back. Harlow. No. Harlow. Are we online?
Yeah.
Where'd you go?
We are online.
Harlow.
Oh my God. That was getting to me too.
Please come back. Don't do this.
I just noticed my phones were flashing because I have a battery. That's down.
Oh no.
Gotta snatch one of them out of the,
Out of the freezer.
We know. You don't.
We know
put
you
them
do
in the
not store them in the freezer because
We
it doesn't do
know.
anything.
The people at home have to know that you don't.
Ooh, switch to night mode in YouTube gaming.
Ooh.
How are we on YouTube? Why
don't know.
are we on YouTube?
Switch to that night mode.
How did that happen?
Let's see what night mode does.
What
Ooh.
is it?
YouTube After Dark.
Yeah.
How do they enable that, like, as a default now? I saw that life hack the other day that you could do something in the code to make the dark version come out.
Ooh, dark.
Ooh, look how dark that is.
Time to whip your dicks out.
Whoa. YouTube After Dark.
Please.
Yeah.
Oh, no Joanna Kearns on Twitter? You want to add
I
her?
didn't look.
Why didn't you at her?
I didn't look.
Be like, we've heard you scream for like 45 minutes.
She's probably busy directing a show right now.
Oh.
And screaming at the
Yes.
actors?
Correct.
What kind of shows is she directing?
Everything. She's a journeywoman.
Really? She's just...
I like 2 or 3 episodes of every show.
Huh.
Like she's she's like Adam Arkin for some reason. That dude will direct any show. He shows up in the directing credits for every show.
Well, the Riker dude from Star Trek directs a shitload of TV now, too.
Jonathan Frakes.
Yes, I know that. I was, for your benefit, I was
Riker
saying,
dude.
What's a Riker
He's
dude?
a Riker dude.
Does he ride Rikers around? Go to Rike Week
Yes.
in Daytona?
she has a Twitter account. She's verified.
Uh-huh. There you go.
I would hope so.
Director, actress, dog lover.
In that order,
Yes.
I guess. Why don't you like dogs more?
She has 1,900 followers.
Hey, Joanna Kearns, why don't you like dogs more
yeah,
than
you
directing?
should put dogs more than actress
Yeah.
because you don't act anymore, and you probably have dogs.
That's true.
Well said, Chuck.
She looks like a nice lady.
She's probably all right.
I don't know. She had to hang out with Kirk Cameron for a long time.
Yeah.
That'll wear on you.
Yeah, but she also got to hang out
Hey,
with
she's
Alan Thicke.
retweeting Hillary Clinton, so she's all right.
Yeah. She got to hang out
Women's
with Alan
March.
Thicke, so, he's all right, right?
Yeah, he is. He's all right.
Man, that Zaya really cuts through the root beer, doesn't it?
It sure does.
It just...
It eliminates the root beer.
It's like one of those chemical reactions that just like...
Yeah.
I feel bad that I got tea. I don't think that would go well with the rum.
Just whatever you pour in there, it's just going to become rum.
You could put
Just
some
pour the
vodka
rum
in there, make an ice pick.
Bourbon.
Huh?
Bourbon.
Bourbon?
Bourbon.
Bourbon and tea?
Bourbon.
Bourbon.
Bourbon and tea?
Bourbon.
Wow, Ian, Pulliam,
I don't
Evan.
know that
hey,
we
everybody.
have bourbon. We have
Oh.
lots of whiskeys, but
Do we
I
have
don't know-
bourbon?
Is anything classified
bourbon
as
in
bourbon in there? Oh, that's right. The
Yeah.
John J. John J.
John Jay.
John Jacob
J.
Jingleheimer.
Jingleheimer Schmidt.
Yeah, his bourbon is my
His
bourbon too.
booze is your booze, too.
Hi.
Poots?
What?
I don't know. Someone said poots. No poots.
Not this week. Man. Whoa. I might have to pour some Pepsi in this or something.
Whoa.
Oh!
Ha! Fuck.
Yeah, I use Coke at home, so it tends to work better.
I use Coke at home, too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Little nose candy.
Yeah, and then I get in debates, and I just go
Yep.
all the time.
Wrong.
Don't worry, I got it.
Spit a little.
I smell a little on my hand.
You got a little?
I got it.
You
Did
lick
you
it
get
up?
You get it up?
I took care of it. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Wash it down.
Yeah.
Tasty beverage.
Beverage.
Woo! Man, this is not root beer anymore.
No.
No.
you want to split a Pepsi? Get a little more mixer in there.
Let's see where the night takes me.
Yeah.
That's a
Split
combo.
some Coke.
Uh-huh.
All right.
Yeah. BJ, you should put some booze in your booze.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man up and drink.
Yeah.
Peer pressure me twice.
Yeah.
Hey, BJ, why don't you put some... All right. Fine, I'll drink. No.
You faded it pretty well.
All right.
Yeah, I'm in the camp of no alcoholic drink should ever be warm.
No. Boo.
Unless you're just like on like the world's worst bender and you just walk in and you're like, give me a glass of rye. Hot.
Yeah, like maybe for ice fishing.
No.
No?
Not even that.
Still want some sweet cold booze?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I'm pretty sure if you have like brandy, it's going to warm you up regardless of its temperature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brandy, room temperature. Mulled wine.
Ew.
Mulled wine.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah.
So I had a
I mean, I'm all right with sake. I know it's if it's cold, it's better quality, but I'm all right with
That's
sake.
perfect.
I had a family acquaintance who almost died from pudding.
From pudding?
No, from pudding. Yes, it was man. It was moldy pudding.
I'm going to miss hand tapioca.
But no, they put a bottle of vodka
Uh-huh.
in their truck, and during the winter tried to drink it, and it immediately froze their throat
Oh, shit.
because obviously alcohol does not freeze,
Right.
and that was a bad call.
Well, alcohol can freeze. It depends on the alcohol content of
That vodka did
yeah,
not
yeah.
freeze.
No, vodka doesn't.
No.
But amazingly enough, a throat will freeze almost immediately on contact with
Yeah.
vodka at sub-zero temperatures.
Huh.
Go figure.
Weird.
So that's why I only drink cold drinks, never hot, because I want my throat to freeze.
Never hot.
I would think that would be a weird way to go out, man. Like, how'd you die? It was kind of alcohol poisoning, kind of not.
Hear me out. Yeah. It was really cold.
Some hair of the dog that frostbit you.
There you go. Oh man!
I'm shocked.
Look at Chuck popping the
Chuck
Molly
getting
over
wrecked.
My man, I got the better shit.
there. Yeah.
He's got the in front of the counter. I got the behind the counter shit. You come to me if you want the D.
That's what they say. Nah, I'm going
Yeah.
to have some Sudafed and some...
Oh, you smurfing over there, huh?
What? What the fuck is a smurfing?
See you on the other side.
That's what the kids is doing these days. They drinking soda fed with root beer and rum.
Next thing you
I
know...
like that you're mixing Suda with alcohol and. Yeah, no. Smurfs are Suda couriers because you can only get so much at a time. So you need Smurfs to get you enough to make meth.
Oh, this is okay. It's
I forgot
actual
about the
drug terms.
Yeah, I forgot. We had this conversation
Yeah,
We did.
like a month ago. I already forgot.
Don't worry.
I didn't forget about Dre, but I did forget about
Oh,
Smurfs.
well, lucky for you.
And as like 90 people have said on Twitter tonight, don't forget that it's 420 Eve and leave
Oh,
weed
thank
and
you for
cookies
reminding
out
me
for
to-
I
Snoop
thought
Dogg.
it was just milk and
Milk and cookies out for Snoop Dogg.
for
Yeah,
reminding
that's
me
a-
to
I mean,
stay
he's
on-
delivering the weed.
Yeah,
Why would you leave some
That's
out?
a man who does not need any more weed.
Well,
I
you
think
leave
he's got a hook
you
up.
leave him a little bit from your personal stash, and he brings you some from his personal stash.
Oh, that's nice. It's an
Yeah.
exchange.
Yeah.
I thought you just left your yard clippings and like Jesus with water into wine. He just walks in and goes, "Ta-dow."
To damn,
To
motherfucker.
Dow.
Yeah. As a abracadabra. I don't know. I don't know how to Snoop Dogg abracadabra. It's too much
Abra motherfucking cadizzle.
azzle cadizzle.
Abracadizzle, my nizzle. Energy level went down a little bit there. Let me have some
It's
more booze.
we sucked up some alcohol. It's
Yeah.
kind of leveling us out now.
We were all scared of freezing our throats
Yeah.
to death.
A little worried.
Let me freeze my throat.
God damn.
God damn.
They play that so often on V1015.
Do they?
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Really?
That's great.
Yeah.
Whenever that comes on backspin, I'm so happy. Even though even though I literally have it, I could play it anytime I want
Sure,
to.
sure.
but
Yeah.
Having it hop up or having
Yeah.
it pop up,
Naturally.
hip hop up randomly.
I've decided that should like the second thing I'd do after killing Hitler if I had a time machine is figure out where they recorded that live and be at that show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
that'd be good.
it's a worthy A Worthy Pursuit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got off Backspin for a while. I went on New Wave.
Okay.
New Wave's pretty good, except
Yeah.
when that one terrible DJ lady is on.
Oh God, they're all terrible. Like Madison on Madison's
She's the worst.
absolute worst.
Yes, absolutely.
Wait, wasn't there a Madison on MTV?
Say,
probably.
any of you fellas not a Madison?
You're thinking of the other one.
But yeah, but Backspin.
Look me in the eye and tell me what you mean.
Kennedy?
Yes, Kennedy.
Maybe.
No,
Maybe.
She's
Downtown Julie Brown,
Yes.
No.
Martha Quinn.
Nope.
We're going to name all the VJs we can.
Do it.
No,
Mark Goodman.
Good one.
no.
Yeah. Tabitha Soren, or she was just the news lady.
She was a news lady.
She didn't really do videos.
Along with Kurt Loder.
Yeah.
Load.
What's Kurt Loder up to these days?
I think he's still doing
don't know.
MTV News.
Really?
Beep, 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 beep.
MTV has news these days?
Sure. Beep, beep, beep.
Yeah, it's the 24-hour MTV news channel.
You can probably put it over there on the other side.
What do y'all?
Good.
What are you trying to find space for?
I'm just letting my phone drift.
Oh,
It's just hanging.
it's drift compatible.
It's hanging. Yes, it's hanging off the table here. I'm gonna see which gives first, that or the.
But the cat's gonna come in here and just.
Yeah, that's part of,
Don't chase the rabbit.
I just don't want the feedback going through. You know how that goes.
I
Put the
do.
cord behind the laptop there. That way it's not in
We
danger.
just need little Faraday cages for our phones that we can put them in.
But why even have it anywhere near wouldn't ring or anything.
Yeah, and I do remember those Dennis Leary MTV ads.
Mhm.
Ian's mentioning them.
Yeah.
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 Is snarky Bill Hicks comment?
Yeah, I
coming
was about to
soon?
say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I figured
I
it was.
liked it better when Bill Hicks did it.
Then he started doing them in movies like Demolition Man,
Yeah.
where he literally just did his MTV shtick.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad he ended up with a career after that, but it was very much like he ran a very big risk of being the one-trick pony guy.
Yeah.
And then just vanishing, but
It doesn't work.
Doesn't work.
yeah. Get that Barks root beer lip smacker. in
Oh
there.
yeah.
Oh, right. Speaking of lip smacking.
Oh,
All you're gonna hear now is rum.
it's gonna fill those crevices. Smack them lips. Yeah. Whew, yeah. So anyone using this the dark channel?
Nope.
Nope.
I mean, I don't even have the
YouTube
window open
gaming
anymore.
dark.
Can I switch to it?
Nope.
It just says YouTube Gaming.
Oh, you done fucked up now, son.
Oh shit. Oh shit. What's it doing? Oh.
Oh, I can get a list of participants. Oh, I like this.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Maybe I should have turned it.
Did a whole new world just open up for you, Chuck? Or is that the Molly? What timing? Just repeat that forever.
Sorry.
Just get it in that infinite loop.
Larch.
I'm very sorry.
The larch. The larch.
What is going on? What world? You guys have been drinking for 7 seconds. You're already just wasted.
Yes.
Every single one of you.
It's so good.
It's not wasted.
I amplified it with Sudafed.
Oh, yeah, that kicked in, I'm sure.
It did. It's
Drooling on myself.
Oh, man.
I don't have drunk
Sudafed's
rum.
kicking in, man. Talk me through it, man. I
There,
don't want
Steve.
I don't want a bad fed or sued, whatever you do on Sudafed.
right. Bad stew.
Sudafed.
Yeah. Fucking Genesing out over here.
Sudafed T1.
Save that for no quarters. I'll remind you by taking some Sudafed right before we start.
Did you play a Suda? Did you play a Suda 51 game?
No.
Oh, damn it!
But there's still time. Oh my
All
god.
right, should we start this before we...
Yeah, Steve's here, so we can start.
That's what we wait for.
Wait for Steve to
That's
get here.
our cue.
We got 13 people watching.
Oh, well, I think we're good
We're
then.
fucking golden.
If only we could monetize it.
Nah.
Nope.
No, because somebody's going to whip their dick out after before this night's over.
I hope not.
Why do you think it's going to be just one?
That's what I hope for.
Yeah. All right, welcome to the BMFcast.
Hey!
BMFcast.
Episode 372. Numbers. So I'm Harlow.
I'm Mackie.
I'm BJ.
I'm Chuck.
And what we do each and every episode of the BMFcast is we go and we watch ourselves a quote-unquote bad movie. Come in here and talk about it for the first half. Then we rate them. Good bad movies and enjoyable bad movies. You get 1 to 5 jocks and robot jocks.
Robot jocks!
However, there are bad movies. Doesn't stay away. They getting negative sliding scale. 1 to 5 bags isn't douchebags. It's after douchebags. I'm slowly trying to eliminate
Yeah.
the other one.
Yes, douchebags.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which are bad.
After things that are bad, we
Right.
don't like them.
bad.
We're in week 3 of April.
April!
And what better way to celebrate them with ape? Real.
it's
No.
the month's namesake.
Yeah. 1976 is ape.
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 Or A
Star.
P star E.
Ape.
So let's get a plot summary out of the way, I guess. Hey, have you seen King Kong?
Whoa.
What if we made that with, like, no money?
In Korea?
Yeah.
That's pretty good plot summary.
No, I don't know. There's some stuff here, but
Okay.
that's as good a plot summary as any.
All right.
I mean, that's what it is.
It is what it is.
King Kong does Korea.
I've seen that one.
Oh.
It was called Ape.
Oh, right. Yes, ape.
Yeah, so this has a 3D version
Uh-huh.
that we started watching,
We did.
and we shut it off after, what, about 5 minutes?
5 or 10 minutes.
Not very long.
Yeah. We don't know if it was the TV.
It's the TV.
Yeah, since
Pretty
it's
sure
a
it's
new-
the TV,
new
yeah.
TV, but
We exercised the 5-minute rule.
yeah.
I mean, we
And
did
went
watch
to
Ape.
2D.
Yeah.
We didn't, like, swap movies.
No, we just
Well, we
swapped
did.
over
We
to
swapped
the
from
2D.
Ape 3D to Ape
2D.
non-3D.
2D.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this movie has Joanna Kearns in it?
It does.
does.
I mean, we usually talk about, like, who's behind the movie or in the movie at first.
Joanna Kearns is all we really know.
Yeah.
Joanna
She's
Kearns
from
and
Growing Pains.
the Ape.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the alternate title.
And a budget of about $27.
Pretty much, yes.
According to all accounts, it was $23,000.
$23,000. And you too can make a giant
And it
ape movie.
looks like it.
It sure does.
Yeah.
Although it starts with ape business. Like, it does not...
Well, it starts.
There's no ramp up to ape.
There's a like the title crawl goes on way too long, and then a ship appears, and
Toy boat.
two guys are on this boat, and they're just as monotone, plain as you can possibly be. Like, what do you think we're gonna do with it when we get there? I don't know. I heard it's going to Disney World. You shitting me? Nope. And then all of a
Good
sudden,
thing it's
like,
going to be asleep for the next
and
5
it's
days.
in that hole that no way it can get out, and then rah, ape comes busting through the hole in the ship, and then like cut to long shot of model boat, and it fucking exploding.
It sure
Yep.
does.
Yeah.
They put an M80 in that sumbitch and let it go.
Yep. And then there's just a man in an ape suit standing in a pool somewhere.
Sort of swimming, sort of walking.
Kind of. And then we see a shark.
Yeah, somebody's hat was like a shark's fin
Uh-huh.
coming towards this ape.
Yep. And the ape doesn't like that. So he grabs that thing.
And we get to watch a shark snuff film for a little while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they threw a dead shark in the
Shark
thing with this dude. And he is just body slamming this shark and thrashing it around. And
It's pretty terrible.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
charmingly terrible, though.
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
Like
But
7 minutes into a movie, you've got a guy in an ape suit throwing around a dead shark. That's all right.
This
and
is
then
true, yeah.
he finishes the scene by basically ripping it open by its jaws.
Yeah. As you do.
Yeah, like King Kong did to, I think, one of the things in the new one, like a T-Rexy looking thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the Peter Jackson one, I haven't seen the newest one. I forget there's a newer one now.
Yes. Right. But yeah. So it dispatches the shark and then is just like, hey, sure. There's something over there, a village /
Yeah.
military base of some kind.
This looks like a nice village.
I'll stomp on it
Yeah.
a little bit. Like I'll rip up some electrical wires, and kind of crush one building.
I don't know. He eventually gets it lit on fire.
Yeah, I was gonna say because like he busts through one. Like I guess it was the gasoline storage building because
yes.
it just immediately catches fire.
It does.
It just holds fire, and he just
He
opened the
ripped it
roof
open.
so that you could see the fire inside the building.
But then he finds, I mean, what in real life are empty tin cans,
Yes.
and just starts throwing them, and they are explosive. I guess
some of
Pretty good.
them.
Some of them.
Some of them come towards the camera. Some just go out into the water. He's not paying attention where he's throwing them. He's just behind the back and over here. Just doesn't care. He's just aping.
Yeah, he was doing some no look passes for absolutely no reason.
yeah, some behind the back tosses. It's pretty good.
Yeah. But yeah, that's kind of the extent of our introduction to the ape character.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then is
And,
it cut right to military guys, or do they not come in for a little bit?
No, we're introduced to our lovers.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That we cut straight to Korean Airlines
Oh, right. Because
at the airport.
they were one of the co-sponsors of this movie.
Right.
Product placement.
Yes. Korean Airlines and Army are the sponsors of this film.
Yeah, the army is thanked in the opening credits.
Yeah, that's back when you could get them to do stuff. Like now
Well-
you can't even get the fucking post office to appear in your movie.
As I pointed out in 1976, the U.S. Army in Korea didn't have a whole lot to do.
Yeah, they're like, oh, you mean we can power up our choppers? Sweet. Let's do that. But yeah, no, it's just the airport, and guy goes over to ticket counter and is like, where's the lady?
and so arriving on this flight from Los Angeles?
I don't know why we both picked that voice. It's not him, but it's basically what happened.
Yes. Great.
Yeah.
We'll see you. Bye.
Tom Rose. That's our guy.
Tom Rose.
That's his
Hi,
character.
Tom.
Well, his real name is Rod Arentz or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Arentz.
Rod.
Arentz.
award-winning journalist.
Tom Rose is the character, though.
Okay. But yeah, then
covering movies.
he goes outside, and there's a little press corps surrounding the lady.
That's Jonah Kearns.
Yeah, and she's a famous Hollywood actress
Yeah.
arriving in Korea for the first time to make a movie,
The worst movie. But,
which I'm sure is going to be just a lovely film.
oh, yeah, probably.
I'm so glad she ended up in Ape instead.
No, she ended up in both. That's the problem. That's
Yeah.
the real problem.
Yeah, but it's just people shouting questions, and eventually they're just like, hey, she's tired. Just let her go back to her hotel. She'll talk to you people later.
Yeah.
And the press is just like, yeah, okay, that's a good idea.
Yeah. And her journalist boyfriend is trying to convince her to ditch the movie and just go to the hotel with him.
Just come have sex with me, please.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, you.
And I love that just before this, she said, like, I thought we were on a break and you were going to give me some space.
Yeah.
No, I convinced my boss to fly me to Korea to cover your movie. Don't you love
me?
that?
Yeah. Isn't that convenient, hun?
Yeah. And she's like, oh, that's great. I'm going to go to my hotel now. And
Yeah.
he's like, great, fantastic. I'll go with you. She's like, oh, no. God. So
Why don't you ride with me instead of with your producers?
All right.
But then I mean, she kind of like gets into it.
Well,
She's
she's.
like,
What's that building? And we never see the building. And he's just like, that's where the president lives. And,
President lives over there,
Yeah.
and now kiss me.
right. He's like, made you look. That goes on for a while. And then I guess they arrive at the hotel, and he's like, I'll come right up. And she's
Yep.
like, no, you won't. And he's like, come on. And she's like, no. And so he doesn't.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm just,
Yeah, no,
yeah,
that's how
but
the
This
scene
is
goes.
all
yeah.
very drawn out. I mean, it's very
But is that when it's just a smash cut to kids running towards
family land.
Family Land, which is a
I
little
think we
amusement park
met
thing?
the military people before that.
Do we?
like, I-
There's no reason to.
Because like I thought he went on like one other minor rampage through a village and like
Oh, right.
Yeah,
There was a guy who walked out. He was on a tractor, and his
Yeah.
tractor got stuck, and it got stuck in a footprint.
well, you say tractor. I mean it looked like somebody like slapped together some wheels and were powering it with like a trawler. Like yeah.
It's really weird, but it's like a two-wheeled tractor.
Yeah.
That had just
But
hooks up to other things that have more wheels.
It had
to
a lot
support
of
it.
accessories.
Anyway, but yes, this guy is like, what is this giant footprint? And he's following like there's another giant footprint. And this movie, both in terms of visuals and sound, if you can't see it on screen, neither can the people in
Right.
the movie.
Right.
Correct.
Because like there is no way he should have not. He should have absolutely seen the 40-foot tall ape.
Yes.
That's like
36 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Yes.
They were very specific.
Sure.
It's 36 feet tall.
Okay.
Yeah. But no, everyone in this movie is always looking down. Just looking down, just
Right, but I mean,
footprints
sound
around.
sound effects when they leave the screen stop.
I know.
Like there is no Doppler like past the edge of the screen.
No.
No.
And
But
so
yeah.
yes, he just looks down. And he's like, ape, and then everyone very calmly and single file
Yeah.
runs out of this village.
Koreans run in single file to hide their numbers.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
It's true.
And then I believe we meet
Sorry.
the military people.
Yeah. Colonel Davis, I believe
Yes,
is
Colonel
that's
Davis.
Colonel
the
Davis.
hero of this movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Colonel
Well,
Goddamn Davis.
The movie, the guy that made this movie somewhat bearable.
Right. Yeah, he is, I don't know, getting reports. He's basically...
Well, the first 3 times you see him, he's basically like, "Oh, come on! There's no such thing as a giant ape.
Yeah,
Get over
he's like,
yourselves.
Why
Bring
is
me some
everyone
proof."
prank calling me?
He's out of his office in this movie twice. Every other scene is just to cut back to him in his office, and it was just... They took a day and filmed him ranting to invisible people on the phone and stretched that out whenever they needed to break away from something else.
Yep.
So we get basically the first of that, which is just him taking calls of people saying, ape. And he's like, shut up. There's no monster. Get the fuck out of here. So that's when...
That's when the kids are at
Yeah,
the
that's-
Okay,
family
that's...
park.
Okay, the kids are running down
Yeah.
the... Okay.
I just remember, like, cause I think we had maybe 2 times of scene. Cause I don't know. There was at least one where he was like, "There's no ape. Come on, nobody's actually seen this. This is a prank caller."
Right.
You know.
So that was
and
after
then it
the-
was like kids are like, I mean, they had like 20 kids, and they're like, "Hey, run down this hill, flail your arms as much as humanly possible."
Because you're going
Be
to Family
children.
Land.
Yeah. Kids don't really run like this. I mean, not all of them at once.
No.
Not generally speaking. Not.
But they realized they could break into Family Land.
Yes.
Which they do. One kid scales the fence, opens the gate.
Yeah, the lock isn't even locked.
No, it's just latched.
Family Land is not a place you break into, man.
No.
You don't even want to go there when it's open.
No. But there's all these rides in Family Land, but the kids just go for the dumb old playground.
Well, nobody's there to operate
Yeah,
the rides. You don't
because
want children
You have
operating
to hire
rides.
a carny.
Dude, one of the
and
kids
this
can
movie had a
flip a
$23,000 budget.
You have one kid who's like, I can operate the rides, and then he
And
goes,
then children die.
well, who cares? But so yeah, they ride all the playground rides, which is just an excuse for more dumb 3D bullshit because kids will swing at you or run down the slide instead
Yeah.
of sliding down it because it's filthy. Seesawing happens and then it's just like you see Ape who's just like, oh, this looks like fun.
Yeah.
And then
He's
the kids
having-
are like,
he's
oh,
in-
dear God, that does
Well,
not look like fun.
He's watching the kids for a while.
Yeah.
And then the teacher shows up. And then
Right.
eventually one of the kids decides to wander away. And I guess like he just suddenly realizes there's a 36-foot ape.
Yeah.
He realizes you can look up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what
Once
he does.
again.
Yeah. And then
Once
everyone
again,
else looks
things
up.
exist above eye level.
Right.
Well,
They all
you
look
can
up.
tell people that aren't local are the ones that look up.
Yes. Yeah. But yeah, they all just kind of look up in different directions and are like, "Oh God, Ape is here," and kind of scurry through the park, but the
Yeah.
wrong way.
Yeah, well, Ape doesn't like they can't afford Ape to trash this
No.
park, so he just kind of is like, "Oh,
Yeah, and that's one of the weird things about this movie is that situations are never closed. Like they will introduce the danger, I don't know, 6 times throughout this movie where it's just like Ape is here, he's gonna do something, and then it's just like cut away,
Well-
and then you cut to General Goddamn's office, and he's just like, more casualties? Ah, shut up! There's no monster. That's how these scenes end.
Yeah, well, this entire movie, it's the truly bad movies.
Mm-hmm.
It's the editing that makes them truly bad.
Okay.
It's the combination. Obviously, it's the combination of everything, but the editing is always what puts it over the top. And this is a horribly edited movie.
Yeah.
yeah."
In every aspect.
So much so that you actually hear the director say "cut" to one scene.
Yeah, you
Yes.
do.
Before it
Maybe
cuts.
2. I thought I heard it one
Okay.
other time as well. Yes, you
But
absolutely do.
it is. It functions this way because it feels like if we just tomorrow said, "Let's make an ape movie," we would come up with something that is probably pretty goddamn similar to this. And we had like a week of footage. We'd just be like, "All right, well, I guess that scene's over."
Yeah.
because we don't have anything else.
We can't actually stomp an amusement park. So
It's like a 24-hour film festival movie. You just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
oh well,
You're just like, all right.
that's what we
Except
got.
if you tried to have 30 scenes in it, as
Right.
opposed to like one good scene.
yeah.
Yeah, that's Ape. Is just lurching from scene to scene, and the scenes just kind of end.
Yeah, I mean,
And we haven't even talked about the ape costume.
No,
Yeah.
it's bad.
Yeah,
It is rental gorilla costume.
you can
quality.
see the zipper down the leg.
except for like the face like the way the face moves is better than expected because it moves.
It does.
Except sometimes, like, there's certain scenes where they didn't bother to put the eye dark on the actor.
Yeah.
So there's, like, sometimes where he very obviously has human eyes, and then other times it's like they actually bothered to put it on there.
Right.
It jumps from place to place.
Yeah.
Especially
it
the
does.
water scene. It was just like, oh, yeah, he has nothing on his eyes.
Yeah.
Probably they were like, oh, it'll run in my eyes when I get wet.
But I mean, so there's a long sequence of events that you can just really sum up real quickly, which is basically like ape encounters people or a large group of people, and then maybe something happens or maybe something doesn't. Like at one point, there's a movie being filmed, like a martial arts movie, and ape shows up, and they're all like, "We will fight the ape." So they all decide they're going to fight the ape. So they start shooting their prop fire arrows and spears and everything towards it. And that scene ends by the crew gathering up like a large log, and they're going to ram it. And they just run towards the camera and then cut. And then you never hear about those people again.
And you can tell they know they're making a 3D movie because they are shooting all sorts of shit directly at the camera. Like a bunch of really chintzy line work.
Yes.
To pull things towards the camera.
Like the fire arrows that they constantly shoot at that thing are just...
That guy shoots about 8 of them at the camera.
Yeah.
I mean, they just
different
reuse
scenes.
the shot 8 times.
Well, that too.
I think they had 2 shots, actually. I think there were 2 shots of it, but they used each of them.
Because they did cut to
4
another
damn
one right
times.
after one at one point where it was arrow.
Yeah, I mean, because we aren't taking specific scene-by-scene notes, eventually somebody comes into Colonel Davis's office and is like, hey, the press is here and they want to know what's going on. Or actually, they catch up to him because he goes to see Kim, the other...
He went to go see the South Korean colonel or whoever's...
Yeah, so he was in his office, and they were like, we have a press conference, you need to come out and explain this, because now they've basically had to accept that, yes, we've seen the ape, enough people have seen it, we can't say it doesn't exist, but we have to downplay it so as not to cause a panic.
But they've also started evacuating villages.
Sure.
They've told everyone to run to Seoul.
Yeah.
They've evacuated everyone and said, run to Seoul.
Leave
Seoul
your
is the
valuables
only
behind.
city in Korea.
Yes.
Yeah, because we did get a scene of him just coming upon an empty village and kind of stepping on the buildings and stomping them. Like I would if my wife said, hey, the recycling goes out today.
Yep.
And get rid of all these Amazon boxes. And I was like, oh, stomp, stomp. That's kind of what he does.
Kind of, but almost like by accident. He's not really like, I'm here to fuck this village up. He's just like...
He does not know the structural integrity of the
just
model
kind of,
they've made.
Well, he's poking at stuff. And then eventually he's like, well, I could probably smash this and maybe graze that, and then I'll go on my way. He doesn't... Any scene that's full-on model, he never fucks it up to completion. It's never 100% completion on any of these models. It's just a little bit of punching, and that's it. So... But so eventually, this goes on and on, basically. So there's the press conference that they have, and then...
Which is where we get the... Like, before it happens, like, he goes in to meet Kim and is, like, talking to him, like, hey, like, talking, and he's like, mind if I bum one of those? And he has, like, the fancy cigarette holder on his desk.
Yes.
And we get basically what we use for our intro, which is, like, the guy comes in and is like, what about the press, sir? Because he lights a cigarette and has this conversation of, like
Like,
what
he
brand are
really
these?
likes that cigarette.
Well, he's like, what brand are these? He's like, oh, they're Chinese, and they're called, like, Long Life or
Long
something
Life,
like that. And he's like, ha, 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 ha. And the guy, like, off-screen guy is like, what about the press, sir? And he's like, what was it? You said it.
I'm going to smoke this goddamn
Yeah,
cigarette.
the press can wait.
Yeah.
Press can wait.
Yeah.
I'm going to smoke this goddamn cigarette. And I think that was the first time we realized goddamn shows up in pretty much every line of dialogue that he has from that point forward.
Either that or bullshit is referenced by him in every other line of dialogue. Yeah. So they go outside. They have their press conference. It doesn't... Nothing comes from it. They're just like, hey, tell us about the ape. And then one guy will start to be, well... And then they're like, shut up. What do you think about the ape? And then this all basically goes nowhere, and they all get dismissed. And then... the Roddy or whatever his name is, the Tim Rose, or he it's just like, hey, Kim, remember me? We go way back. And he's like, oh yeah, you.
He's like, yeah, I'd like to get out there and see what's really
guy.
going on. He's like, well, you can do a ride along with me.
Why don't you come
this
back in
afternoon.
2 hours and we'll go look for the ape? And he's like, sweet. I'm gonna go talk to Joanna Kearns.
Yeah. Which is something weird, like, I'm going to go warn her.
Yeah.
or something like that,
Yeah,
which doesn't make
tell
any
them
sense.
to shut down the movie because there's a giant ape on the
Which
loose.
doesn't make any sense because that is not even what happens in the order of things. Like, we just see him go join them, and they're heading out to where they're filming, which is now outside the city in the middle of nowhere.
Right. But he goes to visit them on set, and at first it's just an
Oh, that's
interior
right. Yeah, that
somewhere.
they are-
Yeah. And this is when we're introduced to her co-star,
Yeah.
who, that is a 0 to 60 guy in about half a second because the director's like, she comes out in a bathrobe, and they're like, well, maybe you should take the bathrobe off. And she's like, nah, I think we're good here. And she like opens it up a little bit, and her castmate is just leering at her. Mm-hmm. She's like, nah, I think I'm going to keep this on.
Yeah.
And then I guess the scene starts filming because he's like, you whore.
They're filming the rehearsal is what they're doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The robe is not the actual costume.
Okay. Well, this guy is way into the aggressive thing that rhymes with ape part of making this scene.
Uh-huh.
And is like to the point where the director's like, dude, you might need to chill on that. And he's like, you need to be more gentle.
More
and
gentle.
He's like, you know what kind of scene this is?
Yeah.
We got to have that. And this is when the boyfriend's like, hey, maybe we shouldn't do this.
Yeah.
Maybe you should leave.
Why don't we take
here."
5?
Yeah. And he's also like, hey, maybe you should go to Seoul because there's a giant ape running around. She's like, what?
Yeah. He's like, well, why don't we just make out for a bit?
Yeah.
And there's a
This
lot.
will make you feel better.
She's just like, all you do is joke. I can't take you seriously. That's why I haven't agreed to marry you because I didn't take your proposal seriously. And he's like, yeah, that's a bummer. Let's make out.
Mm-hmm.
And they make out for a long time, and the director's shouting at them, and eventually she goes back to the set for the continuation
Like,
of this.
their makeout goes on like an uncomfortably long time.
Yes, it does. It's one take, and they won't stop kissing, and it's like, come on, guys, really, this is not what the movie is about.
Yeah.
Please stop this. But yeah, they go back to filming the movie within a movie and continue on with that unpleasantness. Keep in mind, this movie is PG,
Yeah.
and they flat out say that they're filming the rape scene.
Yeah.
The sign off from the scene is the director basically telling them to go again and rape her gently.
Rape her gently.
And it's like, on to the next scene.
Yeah.
It's like, was that a wah-wah moment?
Yeah,
I mean, what?
I don't know.
We don't know, but all we know is eventually we come back to them filming another scene outside.
Yes.
Which is basically the exact same scene.
Kind of, except she's running away.
Yeah.
This movie
she's-
has like one thing in it.
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
going to see that one.
Yeah. But they do a take, and they run for a long time, way out of the camera lens. Like, the camera cannot see them for a good 45 seconds after. But she is running and screaming.
Yeah.
And then director calls cut. Director, by the way, is named Dino, which I think is appropriate considering Dino De Laurentiis is the 1976 King Kong guy. So that's a clever little thing. But
Of course.
I mean, they do this long take, and the cameraman is like, I saw something, and the director is like, okay, we got to do that again. The cameraman saw something. I don't know. We got to do it again.
So yeah, she and the co-star come back, start the scene over. She
Yep.
runs away, screaming, and then continues screaming. And the director's like, "The fuck, man!
Yeah.
Tell her to get back here. The scene's over."
Well, the guy chasing her pulls up lame. Like,
Yeah.
he's like, I have shin splints or something. I can't.
he does the grab the leg. Go.
Sprung a hammy.
Yeah. And then she just runs straight into mechanical hand,
I
basically.
tore my A star, C star, L.
Yes. And she just runs into ape hand.
Ape hand.
And then just is screaming her head off for, I
As
don't know,
she
the
gets
next
carried
20
away.
minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, you get used to her scream
Right.
because she gets to scream. Yes, for
About 5 straight minutes.
Yes. Because it's just
If not longer.
ape walking along with a doll in its hand, and they've dubbed over Joanna Kern screaming.
Well, I mean,
So much screaming.
I'm gonna blame it on this scene, but this is the point of the movie where I noticed just how repetitious the soundtrack was. Not just the soundtrack, but
Yeah.
like the audio parts, all the audio in this movie, how
Yeah.
repetitious it was. And this was like what keyed me up because her scream just kept going,
looping.
and
Yeah.
looping and looping. And then like you start to notice the music is looping and
Yeah.
looping and looping and looping. And just when you think it's gone, it's back in the next scene, looping.
Well, this is the first bit of the movie where it becomes obvious that they have no clue what they're doing, because this is where the military is basically ordered to gas Ape. So we've seen Hueys come in at some point, and
we call them choppers now.
and they fly over, and you see paratroopers, and you just see all of this going on, and then it's for 5 straight minutes she's in a cave screaming because Ape has put her down, and she scurried off into a cave, and for 5 straight minutes it is just the idea of a military in the scene somewhere, and Ape is just swatting at nothing for 5 straight minutes, and occasionally you'll see a toy helicopter go vroom, like through the shot, and he'll mildly take a swing at it. He hits him a couple of times, but over the span of 5 minutes, it is unbearable what's happening.
And it's her screaming throughout.
Yes.
The entire soundtrack is just her shrieking.
And there's no military sounds until just every once in a while you just hear a helicopter boom, and that's it. And like all these dudes who paratrooped in, I don't know what they're doing. Apparently they're on the ground throwing gas grenades, which they only show like one time.
Yeah.
But this goes on forever. She screams forever. Ape at one point is reaching into the cave to get her out, to which she keeps screaming over and over again. Although, when Ape put her down, she does say at one point, "Oh, be gentle, big fella," or something.
Oh, no, that was like she was walking off. There was like this moment where
it's when he was looking at her before the helicopter showed up and he put her aside.
But like all of a sudden, she just goes total like, "Oh, you're fun," and it's just like, well, that's gross. And then she goes back to screaming right away. But this is where the movie just broke. I mean, it's just they didn't know what to do any further here. And this kind of thing is basically the rest of the movie, because they keep cutting back to General Goddamn, who is just, going back and forth on should they be gassing the thing or should they be destroying it. And eventually he comes around to, there's too many casualties, we need to destroy it. And everyone's calling him saying, no, we have to capture it alive. And he's not having it, but he has to, because everyone who's calling him is apparently above him in rank.
Yeah, but he's also awesome.
Oh, yeah, he's angry.
The first time he's like, why are you calling me?
Yeah.
The hell you want me to do?
Yeah. I'm not there. I'm in this room.
Yeah, this is some bullshit.
Well, there's one hard cut back to him in his office where, like, phone is already in his hand.
Yeah.
He's just like, what the goddamn hell is going on out there?
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's just like, oh, hey, you're back.
Yeah,
again.
hi. Welcome.
Welcome back,
Thank
Colonel
you for
Goddamn.
breaking up this monotony. Yeah. And, like, during all the gas attack, like, boyfriend has commandeered a Jeep and has just shown up and does some, like, combat jumps over the hills to get to her. And then she's like, oh, you're here. And they go running off, and they drive to Seoul.
And then the ape continues to dance in place for another 5 minutes.
Yeah, but then I guess it has her sent because he decides he has to, because he was heading to the mountains, but he changed his mind. Now he's going back to Seoul.
Right.
Yeah, because Kim, the South Korean military guy, was like, if you get her, if you do survive and you rescue her, take her to my place.
Take her to
in
my
Seoul.
place.
You'll be safe there.
Yeah.
Sure.
So he does that and drops her off with Kim's family, who the wife is performing a puppet show for the kids, which is
a marionette show, to be fair.
Fine.
Yeah.
But God, it is just here's a marionette, and the kids are just fucking laughing their asses off. So she's in Seoul, and Ape, goes that direction, to which now they have to tell everyone who evacuated to Seoul, go back the other way.
Yeah.
Just think in a few years they'd be making all the TVs, and yet this poor family had to sit here and watch this damn marionette show.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, you don't see one TV in this entire film.
That would require budget.
I guess, but like, there's not one television broadcast throughout this entire film. But yeah, so now we've got long, constant shots of people evacuating out of the city. That goes on forever. And that also has a looping soundtrack of kids just going, meh, and it's just repeated over and over and over again.
What'd you think of that?
So that goes on forever. It's just like, let's all cram into a bus and let's run down these stairs and let's run through the streets. And
I don't know if this is the scene, but there's that one bit of soundtrack that just goes on forever, like the actual musical soundtrack.
Oh, God.
That's like almost the Close Encounters theme, but not.
Yeah.
And it just, man, it repeats a lot.
Yes, it does.
I think it started when he was carrying her to the cave.
It's their love theme. Yeah.
But yeah, so that
just keeps going.
That keeps going.
Love theme from Ape.
I mean, it's even in the background at a point when after he rescues her, like they're talking and Somebody pointed out like they rescue, like he runs up and rescues, and they just stand there for like a few minutes. Oh no, that's later. That's the later one.
Yeah, the second rescue.
The second rescue, yes.
But so she's stashed in Seoul, and Ape shows up because the city's almost deserted. It's quiet out. They make a point to show that the streets are deserted. Everything's quiet. So you see a model of the city, and you see Ape wander into it, and Ape starts doing that, whatever that game is on Price is Right, where you punch to get the piece of paper out, that has the prize on it. He'll like punch a building and just peek inside, and everywhere he punches, there are people who did not evacuate. He never punches anything that's empty. He just like, here's a business that decided they're not going to leave and punch, and they're like, oh. And then here's a family who's decided to stay and eat dinner and punch.
It's like Floridians in the face of a hurricane.
Yeah.
It's like,
I mean, there's
we're not going to leave.
There's the one with the guy who's hired the prostitute.
Yeah.
And they're just having this conversation about, like, hey, can you wait till I take my clothes off? And they're taking their clothes off. And as she's doing this, she sees Ape pulling a mighty Peking man staring in the window.
Hey, yes. Take your clothes off. Mm-hmm. And they run screaming. Yeah. But yeah, so he's in this
his
model.
rampage on.
Yeah, but he's in this model of Seoul, which he never ever destroys. He's just systematically looking for her.
Yeah, he smashes some roofs and sides of some of them.
Like, these are all styrofoam buildings. Just smash the fuck out of everything.
They're making him a sympathetic character because he's not all about death and destruction.
Yes, he's selectively
He's about that
destructive.
lady.
Well, he is about that lady. So
Yeah.
He
He eventually gets her.
yes, he does. He terrorizes the two of them because the Kim's wife and her have retreated to the bedroom.
I do like that during the marionette thing, Joanna Kearns keeps having these looks like she can hear him outside wrecking the city, and the kids
She
are
should be able to. Yes,
Yes.
this is what I'm saying.
Yeah, well, I don't know, over the kids laughing their asses off at this fucking marionette.
It is the funniest thing they have ever seen, and
Oh my
all
God.
they're making it do is tap its foot and blink one eye like it's having a stroke.
Yeah. These kids need TV more than any human beings I've ever seen.
They're going to lose their minds if they ever see a
Oh
television.
my God.
My friend Sam has been singing the praises of all these TVs.
Yeah.
We must make these televisions.
But
Just imagine when they get to set up punchline jokes. They're not going to know what to do.
no, they will have no idea. But yeah, so Ape punches through the roof because Joanna Kearns and Mrs. Kim have run in there, and eventually Joanna Kearns just kind of backs up into Ape's hand
Again.
and is just
How
like,
convenient.
"Oops," and gets taken away. Meanwhile, Mrs. Kim is just fucking screaming.
Oh, yeah. This woman's traumatized.
She will never be the same again. So they cut to Ape leaving the city, which is now just engulfed in flames. Like, this model is totally on fire. And that starts 5 minutes of the goddamn fire department slowly rolling into town
Lord
to
have
fight
mercy.
the fire. And it's like, and then they don't.
No, they don't. Like, they're the most deadpan fire department of all time.
And they start, like, we get
They pull out
3
the ladder.
seconds of, well, no, I think at the end of the 45-minute fire sequence, I think we get a little bit of hose, and then it cuts away as soon as as soon as they show the hose, they cut away.
Yeah, it's censorship.
And by hose, I mean hose.
Right. Yeah, so that's fun. And then it's Ape has, I don't know, fucked off to a field or a forest or something. And it's like, all right, General, what's his nuts
I was going to
gets
say,
the
like,
call.
there's one final call, which I maybe I misheard this, but like Colonel Goddamn makes one final call, and this is like the guy who actually finally gives him like, okay, fine, kill him if you can,
Right.
order. And does he say General Patton? I'm almost positive he said like General Patton, sir.
Does he?
Yeah,
I don't know.
and it's
General
like
Patton was dead by now, so
he was very dead by then.
yes.
It was actually General Patton, sir.
Oh, Patton, sir. Yeah.
Patton, sir. Oh, the tank guy.
Well,
Patton.
I just meant in the long stream of like things they possibly got wrong. It's like,
sure.
dude had been dead.
Let's
for
throw that in
40
there, too.
Yeah, 30 years.
Yeah. Yeah. So they get the call. It's like, all right, blow this fucking thing up. And he's like, we're going to kill a goddamn monkey. So let's show off the U.S. Army and all the things we have.
They shot a lot of footage of the Army.
They had 17 Hueys.
Yeah, a lot of people getting into helicopters, a lot of helicopters landing, a lot of tanks rolling by, a lot of
Not
troops
really
rolling
that many.
by.
There's really just a lot of shots of the same one going by.
Yeah,
Yeah,
They,
here's a
they,
little
had, they, had
service
about, they had
vehicle.
about 5 different types of tanks, and then they showed you different angles of the same ones.
We started laughing at how repetitive this got. Like, it was...
Good Lord.
It was anger-inducing to a point, and then we just started laughing because it was like, oh my God,
That is
this
the fourth
is never
time. That's the
going-
fourth time they've used that helicopter taking off shot.
It's never going to stop.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Triumph of the Will level of, all right, guys, we get it.
Yeah. You got a lot of military.
Yeah.
Is Triumph of the Will the one where the guy's walking across the fucking thing with a candle or whatever?
No.
12 times?
No.
Okay.
Triumph of the Will is the German documentary about Nazis. It was basically Nazi propaganda.
Yeah.
But it is like 2.5 hours long, and the last hour is a just parade of Nazis going down a street that just never fucking ends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So if you finish the movie, that's the triumph of the
Yeah,
movie.
it really is.
yeah.
But yes, it is my go-to for, oh my God, excessive military, not really doing anything
Yeah.
shots.
Yeah.
And this is just
so
military.
the U.S. military here was Meet Joe Blacking.
Yes. Except that's a good movie. Yeah, so there's a lot of that. And then it's, okay, let's go shoot at the ape, who is now just standing somewhere, like kind of on a little hill, holding a doll of Joanna Kearns, who is still screaming.
The worst Joanna Kearns doll that has ever been made.
Well, I don't know how many others there might be.
It
Where
doesn't
they're growing
matter.
pains
It's the
action
worst.
figures.
Doesn't matter.
Okay, but
You stretch this one and it goes, ow.
If you pull the string, it just shrieks for an hour.
the rest of this movie is basically just shooting at ape. Mm-hmm. It's just
Yeah.
things shooting
For a
at
while.
ape. Tanks are shooting at it. Dudes will run up, and this is where this is where the movie remembers it's in 3D, because dudes will run up to the camera with their gun, shoot 2 or 3 times, and then continue running forward a little bit, poking the gun into the frame.
I like that some had reflections that you could see on
Yeah.
the glass at
Yeah.
some points.
Yeah. So this goes on forever. Eventually, this one hero tank shows up that finally penetrates the skin of ape, which is just blood packs shooting out of this thing when this
And
this
out
tiny
his mouth, too.
Yes. Oh God.
But then we see a shot right after where he's blood-free.
They hit this thing one time where he just goes "Brah!" and just blood just pouring out of his mouth. He has been defending himself with rocks, basically throwing them at tanks, which sometimes hit a tank and it explodes, and sometimes lands next to a tank and the tank explodes anyway.
But it always swings on a wire towards the camera.
Yeah, it does. And then he puts Joanna Kearns down again because he's...
Does he?
Yeah, he does.
I must have looked away.
He does because reporter boyfriend has shown back up, because this is when they make out in the
Okay.
woods during the battle. Like, they never clear the area. They just
Yeah.
like, I'm here now, time
Yeah.
to make out.
Love blooms on the battlefield.
Yeah. So they make out, and then they cut away to all the carnage, and then when it's over, cut back, and they stop kissing, and they're like, oh, well, I guess it's all over now. I guess we can go home. And then he says something just fucking dumb. He's like, I guess he was too big for our little world or whatever.
Yep.
Wah, wah. And it's just, here's Ape's corpse. Good night, everybody.
Yeah. Like every scene in the movie, it just kind of ends.
It does, yeah. Although it violently throws up just a red screen like halfway through the credits. It's like credits, red screen, and then the rest of the credits, the end.
There's
That's ape.
we skipped over a lot of the minutia in this movie.
Really?
Like, yeah. I mean, we skipped over a lot
There's
because we
a-
have hauled ass through this little review.
Yeah, there's a lot we were laughing our asses off.
There's a lot just charming, stupid bullshit that happens a lot in this movie, and I just don't want to. I don't want to get through this half without mentioning it, because there's some fun shit. Hopefully, you're behind on Twitter or whatever if you're going to watch this movie, because there's a lot of dead space that you're going to want to fill with anything but this movie. But there's some good stuff. There's some fun.
There is. I will not deny there is some fun stuff in this movie.
Like,
absolutely.
the ape dancing when he's like watching the children play. He's kind of like dancing back and forth, going, "Ah, that's pretty cool. Look at all this happiness. Maybe I won't crush something right now."
There is one village that he goes to where he's just totally stoked to be there. Just dancing,
Yes.
just I'm here, and they're playing happy-go-lucky music, and people are running in terror. Yeah.
There is charming stuff in this movie.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think it's just when it gets to that gas attack where it's just like, all right, this movie's broken now. So,
Yep.
we should RATE it.
R star, A star, T star.
yes. Yeah.
Yeah, no Stargrove, by the way.
Whatever the anti-Stargrove is,
Yes.
like
Yeah.
it
Pretty
might have to be called the ape.
Pretty much.
Just the worst sound
Soundtrack is
coming
terrible.
out of a movie.
So bad.
Yeah, but actual ratings.
Yeah. I'll go.
Okay.
I'm still going to give this one jocks. I was a lot higher on this movie before that moment that I keep saying broke it. I thought it was charmingly bad. I mean, it's very. I was
For a while.
Yeah, I was amazed at how competent it made Mighty Peking Man look. Like, it got to a point where I was like, wow, Mighty Peking Man is an expertly made motion picture. This is not. But I was enjoying it completely for a time, and then it got to a point where I was like, oh man, this movie's just busted. This movie just has no idea what it's doing. And unfortunately, that comes when the action starts. Like when there should be destruction and chaos and good times. But it's just the goofy stuff up until then that's a lot of fun. Once it gets there, it's just like, oh man, end. Just stop this scene. Stop what you're doing. Just
Yeah, I spent
out.
a considerable amount of time on my phone in the second half of this
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah, because it's just the same thing over and over again. There's no reason to keep looking at the screen, really. So I can still give it one jocks because I think it's something that you can say, yeah, you should probably see this. It's real dumb. But just be prepared. The last 30 minutes are bad.
Yeah, I mean, if you insert comedy, songs from the 50s and 60s while he's dancing, it could be more fun.
It could be.
Yeah. Well, there was one point where he just kept changing dance moves. Or I was like, "What is that song?" Like, I can do the Watusi, Just,
Oh, yeah. We didn't even mention the part where he blew up a tank and then flipped off the camera.
Oh shit! Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah, the first time I think did he swat a helicopter? Or a
Yeah, he
tank?
swatted a helicopter and then just flipped us off. Like,
Yeah.
okay, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even know why that happened. Like, why did that happen?
No reason. There's
How do
also
you know what a middle finger is?
Yeah.
there's also a point where he's casually sitting on a rock, like playing with. I mean, he's just playing with like pine needles, but it's supposed to be like a pine tree, and he's just got his
Right.
leg up, like
Yeah, he's just chilling.
crossed his legs.
Yeah, he's just
like,
sitting there chilling.
I mean, I always think like that
He
was
thinks
between
he's a
takes,
people.
and he didn't even know like this guy was in the costume, like
Rolling.
just-
He's playing
like,
with the prop.
Yeah. Oh, hey, you film this?
Oh, all right. Rawr.
I guess I'll go ahead and rate it because I started talking about other shit.
right.
Man, I'm sorry, but this movie, in the end, this movie was kind of unfucking bearable. There are things to laugh about it, but in no way would I recommend you watch this or subject anybody else to watch this. I've got to go 3 bags. I'm sorry, like I mean, don't get me wrong. Colonel Davis was the shining light throughout this movie. Like every time he was on screen, it
You
was
mean Colonel
great.
Goddamn?
Yeah, Colonel Goddamn Davis. But yeah, just the screaming and the soundtrack repetitiveness, and then the repeated shots, and just the length that shots go on, and even the movie within the movie being, what the fuck are you making? Like just everything. It's all so bad that it's like it doesn't cross around to being fun at a certain point. So I'm sorry. 3 bags. That's where I'm landing.
That's fair. That's fair. You want to go?
Now you can go.
You want to fucking go, bro?
No.
Good. I don't either. This movie is theoretically 87 minutes long, but it feels so much longer. There must have been 20 minutes of unnecessarily repeated bullshit in this movie to make it 87 minutes. I want to see the 67-minute cut of this movie. Like, maybe even the just 60-minute, just straight 60 minutes cut of this movie. It drags on and on and on and on and on and on and on. I think the 60-minute version of this movie is great. I think it's actually really good. I mean, not like actual real film good, but actual BMFcast good. Like, it's probably a 3, maybe 4 jocks movie if they cut all of the bullshit out. However, as it stands, it's probably one bags. Like I wasn't angry at it for the shit they did, but it just stopped working halfway through, and it had built up enough goodwill by then that I don't completely hate it. I just don't think anybody should watch it until somebody's like pulled a supercut of the best moments out of that, like a 15-minute supercut on YouTube, or if there are any enterprising young people with nothing better to do, edit this down to 60 minutes, and we'll see how good it can be. Yeah, one bags.
I feel weird that I'm going to balance this all out by giving it 3 jocks.
Whoa.
But we laughed a lot during this movie. And I will say, there's a lot of recommendations I make with stipulations.
Mm-hmm.
This one, don't watch this alone.
Oh, no.
You have to watch this with other people. Because watching with other people, there's so, like, the repetitiveness of it is almost why it works for me, because it gives you plenty of time to just keep making jokes and making new ones. And this is like one of those movies that I am shocked there's no Mystery Science Theater 3000 version of it.
Yeah.
Because it's fucking prime for that, because you can cut out about half an hour of it and not change a thing.
Yeah,
there's plenty of gaps.
I was trying to run because, like, obviously they'd have to take out the implications of the rape scene.
Sure.
But then I was like, how do you get her into his hands? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, that second bit of filming doesn't mention what's going on. It's just her running from a guy.
Yeah.
That guy could be anybody. He could be a killer or whatever. If you cut out the explanation for
I
what the movie
guess,
is,
yeah, okay.
you can totally do it.
Yeah. But, I mean, it's that type of movie that, just the voices we were making on the other end of some of those phone calls when people were talking to each other
Yes.
were great.
Yeah.
Like that was well worth the entertainment value. And it's just, it's bad in that just crazy, ludicrous, we don't know how to make a movie way, and yet we still made a goddamn movie. And we got this Colonel goddamming all over the place.
Yeah.
And go ahead. You're looking at me like you want to say something.
I do, and you're like, I'm not going to revise my rating. I just want to say that, like, if we had a how much fun is this to MST3K, this is like a 7-8 out of 10.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to watch it with your friends and just blast it the entire time. I'm really kind of surprised this one hasn't made it into an MST3K yet, but I'm sure since we've watched it, it'll be about 9 months. And
there are certain little details about it that don't make it good for that. I mean, for them actually doing it, because if you think about how loud and repetitive, like, the screaming scene is, how do you talk over that? I mean, it's literally like 5 straight minutes of just over and over on a loop. You can't.
I think you just devolve
You just
into
drop
everyone shouting,
I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
Drop the audio.
or you go to
Or you just
Yeah.
do a
to
bit.
commercial.
But yeah, and just some of the scenes where the audio just drops anyway.
Sure, yeah.
For no reason. Like, it's
Oh, when he punches through the roof to get to her at the Kim's house, there's no sound of him punching through the roof. It's just nothing. And you're like, what? So,
yeah. It's to me it was charmingly inept, though. Yes, it gets repetitive as shit, especially near the end, and that's really what pulls it back down.
yeah.
Because, like, early on, I was way up there on this because it was so charmingly bad. But yeah, it's going to wear you down by the end of it. Is what's going to happen. But I do want to borrow the Blu-ray just to see if the 3D in it was the TV or it was really that bad.
I think
A 3D conversion.
I think the conversion might have been bad.
Yeah, it's
in
also
addition
the-
to, but okay, there are 2 tiny bits that we skipped over that deserve a mention, because one illustrates how the movie's good and one illustrates how it's bad. One is when all of a sudden they cut to, like, hang gliders.
I forgot about the hang
Yeah,
glider scene.
So,
Right.
like, a hang glider goes off, goes off a cliff and is hang gliding, and Ape is there, and Ape is just like,
Ape has this childish joy
It's-
of
well,
It's
playing.
like he's seen
he catches
a
it.
butterfly.
yeah,
Yeah.
It's the opposite of Godzilla. Godzilla fucking hates anything that's flying. Ape is like, cool, and is just like bopping at it, and you see this little toy like person go whoop whoop whoop.
Well, at first he reaches up to catch it,
Yeah.
and he's kind of like just moving his hand around.
And then eventually
That's so
lets it
good.
go on its way. But like, he doesn't stomp on those people or anything. He just goes about his business. But that was a moment where you're like, what the fuck? And that was good in a charming kind of way.
Yes.
Then there's a bit which is promised on the box, where it sees a snake in a tree, and you're like, oh man, it's gonna fucking fight that snake. And all it does is pull the snake off a tree and throw it. And the snake,
camera.
yeah,
It just
flings
hucks
it at the camera. The camera wobbles, around, and then they cut to the snake, who kind of just turns around. And is like, "What the fuck, bro?" And then that's it. There's no anything. That's the end of all of it.
It's also an implication that there is a giant snake, like a 25-foot snake that's wrapped itself around a baobab tree
So
or banyan tree, whatever it is.
star,
Yeah, star,
N star,
N star, A
so that's
star,
the
K
sequel.
star, E.
So, I mean, you've got this charming little hang gliding bit, which is one of the perks of this movie. But then you've got the snake thing, which is just like, he fought a fake shark forever. Why did he fight the snake for 2 seconds?
No, he fought a real shark that they had murdered and then threw in the water with it.
So,
Also, I want to note,
yeah,
this is one of the most phenomenal posters ever.
it's a great poster.
It's goddamn delightful.
Yeah, and there's a lot of them. Like, there are a
Yeah.
lot of different posters produced for this movie. One that the tagline is specifically not to be confused with King Kong, which
But-
that's the best lawsuit
But just
avoiding
this
tagline.
illustration of him holding a shark in one hand
Yeah.
and a snake in the other
Yeah.
and just being pissed is great.
It's a good poster.
Yeah.
It's what helped sell me on this to thrust upon you guys.
Yeah.
I was like, man, that's got to be something.
Yeah.
So, anyway,
Anyway,
that's a
You know what?
go on.
I forgot about the hang glider scene.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
yeah,
one jocks.
Oh yeah.
One jocks.
Yes.
A cautious one jocks.
I forgot about how long the screaming goes on. I'd like to revise mine to a 4 bag.
No.
I must keep balance in the force.
No, votes are locked. No more bets.
Oh, well, let's take a break, shall we?
All right. I'm Harlow.
We can't say it.
technically we could.
Yeah, you can. These words could come out of your
I
mouth.
don't want to. I don't
Yeah,
want to
but
step
we
on
might
anyone's toes.
Yeah, but watch us do it. Then Harlow's like, "The fuck, man?
Hey,
I don't care.
I
What
see
are you doing?
you son of a bitch.
Yeah,
Sorry, I'm gonna have some more rum.
I'm like that guy. If I don't have to do any work at all, I'm happy.
But if we make you change a thing, we'll be curious.
How fucking dare you?
I kind of want to listen to the commentary track on this.
Oh, there's a commentary track?
Cult Film Authority and historian.
cult film authority.
Nope.
Now I can't help but hearing the tale of Captain Jack Sparrow in Bruce Springsteen voice in my head after the joke I made. This is a tale of Captain Jack Sparrow. I said he came from a small town.
Hey,
What? Hey.
Hey,
anybody have anything for second half?
yes.
We might.
Oh, do we?
Should we do basic second half stuff and then give everyone a warning and say
Yeah.
the rest of this is Fate and Furious spoilers?
Yeah, I mean, minus like contact information probably because it's whatever. But no, I'd say what we do is we'll talk about other shit, a non-spoilery see it or don't see it section for Fate of the Furious, and then like just cut to hardcore fucking spoilers.
Good. That sounds
I don't see how else to talk about it really.
Okay. I just have Mystery Science Theater.
Same here.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think BJ saw John Wick,
Okay.
though I don't know how much of that he wants to get into.
We have time.
The final tally, I saw 7 episodes.
Jesus. That's a lot.
I know.
That's half.
You've made it
I
through
know.
7 of them already?
Yeah,
Shit.
That's a good sign. Means you like it.
I do.
The damn giant monster rap is still stuck in my head.
Yeah.
By the way.
The cameos get a little nutty. I'll just say that.
Okay.
Like some of them, it's like, all right, yeah, obviously, you know this person,
Right.
this makes sense. But then, like one happened, I was like, the fuck, like, how did he? I mean, one of you probably knows them, but how's that a favor you can call in? I'm not gonna say anything more than that.
Okay.
A lot of people are fans.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like
I mean, but this is like you have a hard time imagining this person being a fan.
yeah.
But it's just that it's that level.
Oh. Well, I mean, I know they pulled in writers like crazy. Like Dan Harmon wrote for some of it, and
Yeah. I'm still jealous of Elliot Kalin getting to do so many of them. But the guy wrote for Daily Show, so
Yeah.
I guess that kind of has a little pull.
Man, this guy made a career of directing garbage. Holy shit.
Sounds like my life story.
Like, I'm looking at this and it's like, he worked, but I don't recognize any of this shit. Oh, that shit's fucking expensive.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, like,
You have to get permits and shit.
like when you know someone that knows how to do it.
Well, that's different. But, like, if you go to Lowe's or something, oh my God.
Change the fucking door.
Because we wanted to change our sliding glass door to a French door, and they were just like, well, you got to get city permits, you got to do this.
That's why you don't go to Lowe's for
Well.
literally anything.
I know that now.
Like that
I've
is the
learned
most
my lesson.
That's the most expensive that you're ever possibly going to get because they're trying to protect a multinational, multi-billion-dollar corporation.
I guess.
You get like Cletus and the crew out.
Oh shit, guys! I forgot to hit record. I'm kidding.
I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you.
April
Guess we're
Fools.
using a YouTube feed. We haven't done that for 172 episodes.
What? It's been a while.
It's been a while. No, I'm fine.
No, he's...
Yeah, it was one of our anniversary episodes. 200 was the one that we forgot, and we had to use
Action
the YouTube-
Jackson?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
shit YouTube feed for
Well,
the audio.
back then it was like even shittier. I think now, you honestly, probably wouldn't even be able to tell the difference except for not being able to
It was
isolate
we
the
weren't
channels.
Yeah, we weren't even pushing directly to YouTube. It was Google Hangouts.
Yeah, I think back then.
And then
it
the
was.
Google Hangout would archive to YouTube. It was garbage. Google Hangouts. Stupid fucks.
Yeah, I think it'd be fine now. Other than you lose the separation of channels.
Yeah. No worries.
Oh, man.
BJ, did you hear the plan? Second half plan?
No, I was busy trying to play the John Cena thing on my nose.
So we're gonna talk normal other stuff. Bleed into a non-spoilery quick talk about Fate,
Okay.
and then hardcore spoilers to the end, so we can warn people and say,
Okay.
if you don't want to know,
listening.
stop.
Yeah.
So that's the plan.
So do you have anything for the not Fate section?
Yes,
Okay.
I watched John Wick.
Oh, shit.
I've heard of that.
That's a movie.
Mm.
So you want to do...
Okay. Sure, we can leave with the MST thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's do that. Damn it is right.
Damn it! God
Damn it.
damn it! I mean, all right, let's do this. All right, and welcome back.
Hey, BMFcast.
BMFcast. Second half.
So we are going to talk about a couple things, but I'm going to warn you ahead. There will be spoilers ahead that we will make very clear when we're about to start them for Fate of the Furious.
Right.
But we're going to talk about some other things, talk about non-spoilery review of Fate of the Furious, and then we will very much warn you when that's coming up. So,
Correct. Yeah.
Just to tell you that that's coming this half, obviously. I mean, a new Fast movie is out. Of course, we saw it.
You're damn right we
It's
did.
relevant to our interests.
It is. So
I think first things first. I think some of us, if not all of us, watched some of the MST 3K The Return.
yes.
Yes.
New to Netflix, where they did the Netflix model of here's all of it and consume it at your will.
Right. Which is not a good way to watch that show, although you think it is a good way to watch that show because you've watched the most of it.
Yeah, I've watched half of it so
Okay.
far. I've watched 7 out of 14 episodes.
That's a lot. I've watched
Yeah.
the first 2.
Okay.
So,
I only had time to watch the first one.
okay. BJ, did you watch any of them?
I had time to watch the first Nun.
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
Alright.
there we go.
It's a documentary about nuns.
Yeah. Oh, the first
Yeah.
Nun. Yeah.
None before her.
It's
It's called Sister Act.
it's still weird to me that they have commercial breaks in a show that's on Netflix.
Yeah.
Where they even acknowledge that it's on Netflix at a few points.
All right. So there's a couple things like I've noticed, or the things I think that they felt they had to do. Like the episodes are still 90 minutes, despite no reason needing to be.
Yep.
They still have the commercial breaks. I think they were like, I think that Mystery Science Theater is such a beloved property that they were afraid to mess with literally anything, like other than updating.
I agree with that.
I think they were like, this needs to feel exactly like the old ones,
Yeah.
complete with commercial breaks, like everything.
And I think also, too, they were like, this is how we filmed it for 11 seasons. We're familiar with that. There's really no reason to not do it that way.
Yeah.
Because there, a few people behind the scenes,
And maybe
some of the writers,
maybe
and Joel,
someday they'll be like, here,
Yeah.
Comedy Central, you can have these now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, we haven't reached that point in Netflix's history yet where they just have enough of their own shit that they start, what would that be, syndicating it?
Yes.
Out to some other sources.
Right.
Yeah.
I assume it's coming because when you have 300 hours of original content, it might be time to dump some and get new, or keep it there, but
Yep.
Yeah, but as far as the show itself, I really like Jonah. I wasn't expecting to, but I really like him. I'm still having trouble differentiating
Crow and
Tom and
Servo.
Tom Servo because they don't, at least as far as the first episode goes, they don't give you much time with them in skits outside of the silhouettes at all. Like they just dump you in and they're like, all right, jokes.
Yeah.
There's a
And-
lot to set up, but then also not. They're like, we got to get back to it real quick.
Yeah, and I don't like the Felicia Day, Patton Oswalt stuff at all. I
It
think-
gets much better. It was very
I think
awkward the
they're-
first episode or two.
I think it's like they're too big for it, and something about that bothers me. It's the whole. I mean, and I don't blame them for being in it. If I had been on a TV sitcom and was, people knew me as an actor and all that, and they're like, "Hey, do you want to be in MST3K?" I bet, yeah. So whatever the fuck you want me to do, just like Will Wheaton in the first one. It's like, okay, you want me to do this? Fine, get me in here, one way or another. But there's something about recognizable people in it that bugs me, and it's not their fault, but it's kind of that whole like. It kind of feels like that whole asylum thing almost where it's like we can make a good thing, but we know we're trying to make a cheap thing. Like we're trying to make a good thing that look cheap.
Yeah, I mean,
but it's
other than
I don't know.
Let's be honest. I mean, half of America's population doesn't know who Patton Oswalt is by name.
No, he's that guy.
He's just like they're like, were you
was
on
on
that
Everybody
show?
Loves
Yeah,
Raymond for
they're
a
like, were you
while.
on that show? Like
Yeah.
with the tall guy? That's who he is to most people. I mean, the nerd community knows who both those people are.
Right.
Yeah.
Nobody knows who the fuck Felicia Day is that isn't on the internet. Like, I mean, you know what I mean? It's like,
Your grandma
Yeah.
doesn't know
Yeah.
who Felicia Day
No,
is.
no.
you know what I mean? It's like they're not that big.
I think what Mackie's saying kind of is that, I mean, like the show for its entire run was kind of outside looking in, and now it's embraced by a small circle of the in.
Yeah, it's inside
the
looking
internet
out.
geek
Yeah.
community.
Yeah, and
So to
so
speak.
it has connections with people who are in it and on it and writing for it who would have maybe been targets beforehand and are now part of it. So it's different in that regard, in that it's not, this cable access show that is just like Hollywood, man, poking at you. And now it's like they're filming in LA and all their friends are there and they made a lot of friends over the years and some of them are really famous.
Yeah.
I get that. Where I'm at with the show 2 episodes in, I agree with the voices sounding the same, although I think all 3 of them to me have sounded the same so far. A couple of the things that have bothered me is kind of the new way they're filming it, which is that they're recording all the audio separately. They're recording they're taking the best take of the joke and editing them together, because you can see the silhouettes freeze for a long period of time and then they'll kind of shift out of it and when the joke launches. So that's one thing that's kind of different that doesn't really feel natural, and you can kind of hear it in the editing sometimes.
Yeah, the editing is off.
You'll hear
audio wise.
You'll hear a joke cut hard because a line of dialogue in the movie is picking up. Like they had to really cram the line in real fast so that they wouldn't step over the dialogue.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, like, the old show would, like, the writer's room would all throw out their jokes and they would take the best joke and use it. And I think the one thing that this show is doing is that it'll just use all the jokes. Like, there will be moments where it's like 7 jokes in a row and it's like, whoa, slow down. Hold your horses. One joke, or maybe 2, but let your joke breathe. Let it hang there a second. Let it, let someone hear it. So
Yeah. Just to jump in real quick, like I've watched some of the older MST3K. Like 2 months ago, I watched a few episodes just because I knew more was coming and I wanted to kind of refresh.
Yep.
And they let the jokes air
Yeah.
for a while.
Yeah.
They kind of let things linger and let scenes go on without jumping into a joke. And then sometimes they'll rapid fire 4 or 5 of them.
Yeah.
So, but it's an interesting contrast. Continue. Thank you.
I don't necessarily, I'm not bothered by it. It's a very stark difference to me. And with their voices, to me, all sounding the same, because also when they get excited, they all get excited in the same way, which is just elevate and pick up speed and elevate octaves. So they all get excitable in the same way. There's no difference there. So it's just hard for me to pick out who's who right now.
Yeah.
I'm sure
we'll
pick
get
up on
used to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, just like picking up a new podcast.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
You don't necessarily know
who
the
are these 4
voices.
people?
Yeah.
Yeah, assuming they filmed these in order, it feels like it, because I felt like
I believe they did.
Like the first episode, I really was like, I don't know about this, because
Same way.
like nothing was really gelling for me,
Yeah.
and like by the third one, I was fucking on board, like really on board.
Honestly, the first one, it took them a while to get. I got a few chuckles, and then when they get to the part where Reptilicus' tail gets defrosted, they had like 7 jokes in a row that were great, and they were using them to build
I'm
on
not
each
saying I
other,
didn't
and
like
that's
it.
when I knew I was kind of in.
Yeah.
And then they did like the giant monster rap.
Yes.
During one of the breaks, and I was like, all right, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
And
like,
I realized they did that in one take.
Yep.
And he never fucked it up. I mean, I don't know how many takes they took of it, but
well,
that-
he didn't start to knock the things over, but at that point, it was like the song was done.
Yeah,
Like, I don't
because you
think
see
else
him
was-
kind of
like,
look at the camera like, "Oh fuck, I knocked these over, but we're not starting over." That's the thing, though, is that the host segments always were one take, and that's why there's something so. I think it's in the first one when they're doing like the wheel of something, and they obviously had to cobble together 4 or 5 takes, because you get like these water bubbles that float up in the screen, and then it's obviously a wipe to a different take. That was jarring to me. That was like, oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like everybody starts gelling better. Like
yeah.
after like about the 3rd or 4th episode,
Yeah.
it was like, all right, I am with this flow now.
Yeah. Because that's my concern, because the way they shot it, I think, was just like, I think they did do them in order,
Oh, yeah.
but I think that it was a crammed production schedule. It was just go, get them all done. Whereas when they were filming it for television, it was paced, and you had time to go back and rewatch and maybe learn from performance and stuff like that. And I'm worried that like the whole season is going to go by and no one's going to be like, oh, we all sound the same. It's like it wasn't until editing where they were like, oh god, we all sound the same. Well, season 2 we'll fix that. But
Yeah.
so
Yeah, I mean,
these are all minor dumb
Yeah,
nerd
I was going to say, like,
nitpicks.
to be honest with you, I mean, yeah, I grew to know the old people's voices very obviously, but I kind of don't care.
yeah.
I mean, it really doesn't. I mean, I don't really, unless they're doing something that's adding to it. I don't look at the silhouettes the entire time.
No.
like ever.
No,
really, honestly.
But the weird thing is that they want you to now. 'cause
Now,
they're,
yes.
they're doing weird shtick with the silhouettes.
Yeah,
that's
floating around and-
odd.
yeah.
Sometimes, yeah. The funniest is, like, I don't remember. It's not much of a spoiler, but there is one movie that has a little bit of nudity, and like Tom Servo takes off, and the crow's like, "Hey, wait, I think I can do that too." And like they basically become the blur bars, and they're like flying around the screen, just to cover up the
good.
nudity.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the old shows had to do that, but just Joel just opened an umbrella in the
Right.
theater and was just like, "Oh, look, it's raining in here."
Yeah.
Yeah. It's.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not. It's
yeah,
fine.
We're sounding nitpicky, but it's a good thing.
yeah.
Like it is not bad. When you have that many jokes in a show, not all of them are going to hit.
Yeah.
But they definitely have some great ones that hit really well.
Yes.
Yeah. I think I don't remember which order. I've watched too many of them now. Like Avalanche, I think that was the one that 100% sold me on the show. The
Yeah.
Avalanche episode.
It took a lot for me not to jump to the Star Crash one. I got to admit.
Yeah, Star Crash was pretty good.
Yeah, it took a lot for me not to watch that one first, but I'm like, nope.
The best thing is, like, if I'm remembering right, we made a very similar observation about Star Crash, is how it ends like 17 times. So they're like, they keep like getting up like, oh, that was a pretty good movie. Like, oh, it's still going. Okay.
Yeah. See, I thought the second movie was a better target than the first one. The Reptilicus is kind of boring. The second one is just so goddamn
Is that
weird.
the Time Travelers one?
No, the second one is the Cry Wilderness.
Oh, okay.
The Bigfoot movie.
Yeah.
It is so fucking bizarre
Yeah.
that it can't help but to make a good episode. And there's just there's so much like dumb wildlife in that movie, and then at one point there's a bobcat on screen, which one of the characters just starts doing a really bizarre Bobcat Goldthwait impression, where I just fell over. I was like, "Oh my god!" Like, who remembers what Bobcat Goldthwait used to sound like, and why would anyone do that joke? So
I remember what Bobcat.
I know,
Goldthwait
but
sounded like.
now it's just like
Yeah, I think it was.
We
Time
all
Travelers
watched the
and
Police
Avalanche.
Academy movies growing up. God damn it!
I know.
Time Travelers.
Don't you
and Avalanche.
besmirch
Those-
Bobcat Goldthwait.
Those are the ones.
We're still on Bobcat, right?
I did like them also using Xanadu.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Pretty much exactly the same way we did.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Time Travelers and Avalanche, those were the back-to-backs. That was
Okay.
that was the where I was like sold on the show.
I think that's 3 and 4, so
Yeah.
I'm right there. Cool. Yeah, it's it's fine. It's going to be fine. We're all fine here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't get it. People like do what the internet always does, which is like predetermine how they're going to feel about a thing before it comes out. And I was just like, I read nothing, knew nothing. I just knew it was a thing. I didn't know who Jonah Ray was. Still, basically, other than seeing him on this, I still have no concept of who he is. And
either.
I just was like, the old one's the old one. I mean, I'm going to be honest, the sci-fi ones weren't very good. And, so they kind of already ruined their own thing at one point in time when they went to the Sci-Fi Channel. So they were just lesser than.
Yeah, I think it. But
They
I think,
pigeonholed themselves into like one type of movie. And that's not fun for MST.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, look, another sci-fi movie. Same sci-fi
but
jokes.
I think people think back and they think about like the best ones, like Mitchell and. I'm trying to think of some of the other like sterling examples, but it's like everyone is going to remember. You remember the best episodes of X-Files. You don't remember the garbage Monster of the Week ones.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
go, man, that show was really good because remember this one. And I think that's kind of how.
Pod people.
Yeah, that show's evolved now. Because what is it? They started it was 197 episodes, I think. Because I think the first one of this season starts out and says 198.
Yes.
Yeah, they make
So-
a big deal about episode 200.
I figured they would. I figured that was why they were pointing that out. So, yeah, it's and the little special effects bits kind of things are charming. Like they're well done and in the spirit of the old show. I think so.
Yeah.
I think the intro is a little strange. How it's kind of alive, like him wandering into a thing. It's not settled at any point. I figured that was going to be like the first episode intro, and then they were going to have a proper intro. But no, that's the intro every time. It's strange. So, but whatever, dude, make changes. It's your thing. Do whatever you want to do.
Is Felicia Day like playing Felicia Day in this like she normally does, or is she playing a character?
She's a character, but it's Felicia Day. I mean,
Yeah,
she's evil
kinda
Felicia Day.
doing the straight man thing to Patton Oswalt
Yeah.
doing the goofy shit,
Yeah,
more or less. I mean,
I like Patton Oswalt in this.
Yeah.
I think he's
and
the best.
my
thing
God,
about
that whoever first put pen to paper and said "TV son of TV's Frank,"
it. Yep.
bravo!
Yep.
Just that's so fucking good.
Yeah. But I did like she was like, no one calls you that. Your
Yeah.
name is Max. He's like, well. So, yep.
All right,
That's the thing.
Yeah. So BJ,
Yes.
you didn't watch that.
Nope.
Do you have time to watch anything else?
I did. For once.
What was it?
You want to guess?
Fate of the Furious.
Yes, I did watch that. But I watched that Saturday.
Oh, okay.
I watched something else last night.
Okay. I
I
know
wa-
what it is. I'm not going to guess because then it would just be me making fake guesses.
Yes. It was John Wick.
Yeah.
I watched John Wick,
Yeah.
finally.
John Wick.
After the entire internet telling me to watch John Wick.
You waited
And-
3 years. What do you expect?
Sure, but while telling me to watch John Wick, the entire internet told me every fucking thing about John Wick. Even though the only way I could have tried harder to avoid knowing everything about John Wick would be to snap my phone in half, throw my computer into the sun, and walk off into the desert. It's just weird. It's a weird little phenomenon with some movies where the entire universe just decides right out of the gate that they got to tell you everything, and that's a thing that happened with John Wick.
I don't recall us ever doing that except for the one thing that needs to be told to people because it
Yeah.
could seriously affect
I was
their
gonna say, I think-
enjoyment of the movie.
That part
Yeah.
is the worst.
Yeah.
Honestly, no, I don't mean that part of the
Yeah.
movie. I mean knowing that part. That is the worst thing that you could know about that movie. Going in 100%.
Right.
It,
I was glad I knew it.
Right, but I'm saying, like, there are certain people that are just like, I will not see a movie that involves
I understand that.
Yeah.
I understand your point. But knowing that is the worst thing that you could know going into that movie, because it takes away every bit of shock that scene has. It it's not real.
That's true.
So, like, nobody's stupid enough to think that that's real. So, the fact that it happens at all would be shocking.
Mm-hmm.
Like, maybe you might see it coming, but you could hold on to the hope that, like, maybe it won't happen, and then boom, it happens, and it's impactful. Having heard about it 100 million times just sucked all the life out of that scene, unfortunately. And I kind of want to make a point about spoilers, but this is why I will till my dying day fight that, like, spoilers are actually a big deal, and spoiling a movie for somebody is shitty because it changes the way you perceive something, unless you're the type of person that immediately forgets what they've been told.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I went into that movie expecting that to happen, and my brain looked for it and waited for it, and when it happened, it just... I know it's supposed to mean something, but it didn't mean what... it didn't mean what they intended it to mean.
Okay.
So...
But after that...
Having said that, having sucked all the wind out of the room, I really like John Wick, not just the character John Wick, which I think is a kick-ass fucking character. I like the movie. I think it's just soaking in style. It's not dripping with style. It's just soaking in an entire humongous vat of style, which I really like. I thought the action was going to be a little bit quicker paced by what I had heard about it, but it had sort of this slow, deliberate feel to it, which was really interesting, especially compared to the way my brain was expecting things to happen. And I think that made it feel a little bit more real and visceral, which I really like.
I think it goes to the not supernatural, but like the super fantastic abilities without crossing into shoot 'em up territory, where it's like, like you're defying laws of physics and gravity and everything, and now and there's just too much happening too fast. Like it feels like someone just played the movie at the exact right speed,
Right?
Where it's like, I can buy somebody being good at that doing this.
Yeah, and it's like I've watched a lot of shooting competitions, and because it's a thing I'm interested in, and he shoots the way, and I know that Keanu guys actually trained for what they call 3-gun matches and 2-gun matches, so I know he's a competition shooter, but you can see the decision making process. Like, it's not one of those things where somebody just somehow supernaturally knows that this is how they need to shoot. You can see the thinking process and the movement and the deliberate nature of his actions in all of it, and that's a whole lot of fun to watch. I really enjoy watching that. The thing I love most about John Wick, though, is the world that they've created. Like, I really wanted to watch John Wick 2 immediately because I want to see more shit in this crazy world where there's like an assassins only thing, and everybody knows each other and there are things. I don't want to say much about the movie, but like,
you'll get what you want in John Wick 2 if that's what you want.
I want more of that world.
Expanded universe. Yeah, you'll be fine.
Yeah, that world is so good, and it's
certainly unique.
They just lean into it, and they don't make a huge deal about it. They just it's how that world is, and it's a whole lot of fun to kind of watch it happen. And fucking John Wick's hype man through the entire movie is super good too. Like,
Yeah, I love that the main bad guy.
The main bad guy is selling, is just selling the shit out of John Wick to anybody who will listen.
It's like, wait, you did what? Oh, you don't understand. You don't understand what you've done.
The only thing he didn't say that I kind of expected him to say was, "That's John fucking Wick." He said something similar, but not that specific. That specific phrase. So yeah, John Wick is really good. Y'all go see it. Or sit at home and see it. I know I had.
We're just glad you saw it before John Wick 3 comes out.
Yeah, and I'll see John Wick 2 before John Wick 4 comes out.
Okay,
that's good.
Guaranteed.
That's also good.
But I don't know. This is just a quick hot tip. If you are an Android phone user, there's an app called Google Opinion Rewards, and you just answer a bunch of bullshit surveys and bullshit your way through them, and they give you like 50 cents or 40 cents or whatever. But I have like $30-something in credit, and you can rent movies on Google Play and watch them on YouTube or watch them on like a Roku or a Fire Stick or whatever. So free movie rentals. That's how I ended up watching John Wick. So
nice.
I'm not paid to say that. It's just convenient as shit.
Outstanding. Good job.
Thank you.
So
I'm done.
So did you say that the phone stuff is picking up on the audio? Because somebody's
did.
phone is going fucking nuts.
On the YouTube audio.
Somebody,
it is.
I'm just saying,
It's not
somebody's
on the
phone is
actual
going
audio.
nuts right now.
Yeah, I got one email, so I don't know if it's mine or not.
Is it because do you still have it plugged in?
I just unplugged it.
I didn't know if the power is, if it's feeding back through the cable that's going over your mic cable.
I will hang it this
I don't
time.
know, just wondering.
Yeah, could be. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't hear it, but I don't edit with headphones, so I can't.
Oh, Jesus Christ, Chuck.
What? Do you
Don't
think I want to hear every slurpy sound we make when I'm editing? No.
That's how he gets
Slurpee sound.
gets all of them out.
Slurpy sound. Anyway.
Watch John Wick. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I bet we have another movie to talk about that people should watch.
Yeah,
It's brand new.
it is.
It's an original film.
Yes, it is.
The increasingly funny title or production company.
The Fate of the Furious.
Yes. Fast and Furious 8.
We watched that.
We did.
Yeah, you guys saw it on Saturday.
Correct.
I saw it this
morning.
Did you know that movie theaters open at 9:45 a.m.?
Nope.
Apparently only one other person knew.
However,
Yeah.
I'm having popcorn for breakfast every weekend now.
It's not a bad idea.
Yeah. Yeah. That,
So yeah, we want to talk about it briefly,
Yes.
spoiler free,
Yes.
and then we will warn you when we go into hardcore spoilers, as I said earlier. So, I guess the simplest thing would be let's play Fast and the Furious ranking game.
well, okay.
Well, let's get this out of the way. I liked it.
Okay,
I liked it.
I liked it.
I liked it. If that's as strong as we're going,
Well,
Did you like it or did you dislike it?
We're just up or down.
yes.
Okay, good.
yeah,
I liked it.
Wait.
like if you compare our talk about 7,
We were bummed.
I was super hard on 7.
Yeah.
I mean, I still liked it, but like I have way less complaints
Yeah.
about this one
Yeah.
than I did about 7.
I'm ready to rank them.
Yeah, go for it.
We go right ahead.
I'm just going to dive right into this. 5, 8, 6, 7. 6 is really close to 8, though.
I think I'm in agreement with you.
And then everything else doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, I flip flopped back and forth between 6 and 8, but I think I'm putting 8 higher.
Yeah. Yep.
I think I'm the only one that would put 6 higher than 8, but
They're so close.
they're really close.
I would need to watch 6 again.
If I watch 6 again, I might flip flop
Yeah.
it higher just because, it's.
I just
I've forgotten a lot.
want to make the point that 5 is the best and 8 is a lot better than 7 was.
Yeah.
Like,
And possibly better than 6.
yes, you could probably depending on your mood on any given day, you could probably go 6 is better, 8 is better, and you know what? You're probably not wrong either time.
Yeah.
But
And I was also the most skeptical going into this one because I thought
well-
the whole Dom's the bad guy one was going to be really
dumb.
stupid. And all right, this movie is really stupid.
Absolutely.
oh, yeah,
It is
yeah.
really
100%.
stupid. Like this movie is the person you date that you don't really have much in common with, but you have really good sex with, and you're like, "Why are we at dinner? Why don't we just go home? Because I don't really want to talk to you, but I think we both know." That's this movie to me,
If I wasn't starving, we'd be fucking.
pretty much. Pretty much, and that's like this movie. Like everything in between the action, like the action scenes are the sex, and everything else is like this is going to get us to the sex, right? Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what this movie is for me. Whereas like Fast Five, I like even the in between stuff. I really like in Fast Five. I genuinely love like Dom and Brian talking about their parent, how their parents acted towards them, all that stuff. Love it. The Hobbs just facing off in the middle of a crowd in Brazil with Dom. Like, love that shit.
Yep.
This one, like, so much of the in-between stuff is like, I don't give a fuck. Get in a car and do something crazy.
Yeah.
But it's not terrible.
No.
It's really dumb, but it's not terrible. Yeah.
Okay.
It's all about respect.
I got like 2 or 3 things to say about this that are not spoilery. I think this movie is probably maybe 20 minutes too long. Not any one 20-minute chunk, but I think there's probably about 20 minutes in this movie that's just like, you're talking. I don't really need to know. Whatever. Just, who cares? Mm-hmm. I think that this fixes one of the huge problems I had with 7 in that The Rock wasn't available for most of it and was only bookending it. And The Rock is in this whole goddamn movie.
The Rock still isn't in it enough.
Not enough, but more than...
Probably because he would have destroyed Vin Diesel.
Yes, but his every moment in this is fucking amazing. Like, he is like his wrestling character times 1,000,000 in this. Mm-hmm. He's doing promos. He is beating the fuck out of people, and he's awesome.
And it's the greatest bitch
man
ever committed to film.
The way they zoom in on him as he's giving that speech, and he just milks that last word for all it's worth. The man deserves all the awards. Just give him every award ever. The other thing is that there's a bit during the mid-movie action sequence that is basically... the craziness of the mid-movie action sequence is up there with Olympus Has Fallen in terms of just goddamn ridiculous that doesn't stop. It just keeps going and doesn't stop. But there's a bit towards the end of it that is straight up lifted out of 24, and that pissed me off. It as cool as it was, and even though I ultimately don't have a problem with it, the fact that it was remotely similar to one of the best things 24 ever did pissed me off for like half a second. Half a second was as long as I was pissed, but still I was like, oh, you guys are ripping off 24. I don't care. It's really cool. But
oh, my ex-girlfriend used to do that move. Anyway, back to fucking.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly.
I'm keeping that metaphor alive.
That's fine, because I have broken up with 24, so.
Vin Diesel has an emotion. The movie. He had an emotion once.
He yelled at one point, and it scared me.
It was surprising as shit.
He went, brah, and I went, ah. That's not called Vin Diesel.
He yelled twice,
Yeah,
but once it was an emotion.
Yes.
Once was just yelling, and once was, yeah.
Yeah, and I appreciate that he saved his ability to talk shit to get 2 really good chances to talk shit at her. Because Charlize is very one note.
Yeah.
But they definitely make you hate her enough.
Oh, sure.
But there's a point we'll talk about once we get into spoiler territory where I think they push it a bit too far because like it doesn't seem like what the character would do strategically.
Yeah.
It just seems like I'm doing this because I have to be evil.
Yep.
And the movie calls for me to be evil, so let's get this on.
Yeah.
There's a bit of that in it, but they do a good job of justifying why Vin Diesel is doing bad things.
Yes.
In a way, I honestly kind of wasn't expecting.
I didn't. I thought it was going in a different direction that I'll talk about when we get to it.
I have one question. Are you saying Vin Diesel expressed an emotion or Vin Diesel made you feel an emotion?
Expressed an emotion?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, because you said he shouted and it startled me, and I was like...
I said that.
I was like... He has done plenty of things that have caused emotions. The entirety of the Iron Giant.
No.
How about We Are Groot?
Yeah,
That
sure.
doesn't- that doesn't
Sure.
reach you?
Dom
Come on.
had an emotion.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. Dom was
Vin
not.
Diesel had an emotion in a Fast and Furious
All
movie.
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
All right. I guess.
any other non-spoilery?
I don't think Charlize Theron was like at her Charlize Theroniest, but she did bring. Like, she did significantly increase the level of actual acting in this movie.
Sure.
Even though she was kind of, like, she's kind of plain, but she actually, you know, she's someone who can act, and even though I think her hairstyle is kind of dumb,
It was very Angelina Jolie and Gone in 60 Seconds.
yeah,
It was like, okay, hacker.
right. Still, I appreciate what she brought to the what she brought to the table in this movie. Thought it was good.
And I gotta say, like, Cypher is the worst best name.
Absolutely.
Because it is totally what somebody, like some master hacker, would totally fucking call themselves.
Probably.
They'd be like, it's Cypher.
Yeah.
That's gotta be cool, right? But it's gonna be spelled different. Like Cipher. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's how cool like it.
It's spelled PSY and the number 4.
Oh God, I hate you. I hate you so much.
yeah.
But it is, and it's better directed action-wise than 7 was.
Absolutely.
Yes.
7
immensely.
was, I mean, there's still some shaky cam, quick cut stuff, but it is not nearly on the level that it is in 7.
Right.
Like 7, some of the action is just fucking incoherent, and that
you know
pissed me
everything
off.
that's happening in this.
Yeah.
Even though there is fast cut shaky cam, you can still absolutely know that dudes are getting wrecked, and you can tell exactly how they're getting wrecked. Man, do dudes get wrecked?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's get into the dude wrecking.
Yeah. Let's talk. Okay.
All right.
Here's your
We
warning.
got to talk about how we enter the room.
Yeah.
Oh no, we got to talk
We're not
about spoilers
doing
now.
we're not doing emails or anything.
We can do this at the end, I guess.
Well, if we're gonna just drive straight into spoiler territory, we might as well.
Do we have emails?
All right.
I mean,
We have some, but
might as well just let people turn it off. Then, like, tune to 48 minutes and 9 seconds and pick
Okay.
that up.
Yeah.
Make it easier on folks.
Okay. Well, we will. Do we have emails?
we have a couple, but we're going to talk long. I can tell you that right
Okay.
now.
Yeah.
Well, that's fine.
We're talking about
We'll
fucking
do
Fate of the Furious.
right. We'll do correspondence
Christ.
next week.
Okay.
So from this point on, folks,
Yeah.
spoiler time. Turn off your radios.
We'll Patreon shout out all of you next week.
Yeah. Yeah, you're going to get what you want next week,
Yeah.
but now you're going to get what we want.
Yeah, something like that.
So, details about Fate of the Furious. It's a dumb title. It's not utilized the way it should be.
Yeah, it just
It wasn't like the hashtag,
Yes.
like, or the URL or whatever.
Yeah. Okay. So, I think you and I, when we left the theater, said that the prison fight is one of the best things ever.
Yes.
And instantly qualifies this as a Five Jocks movie.
Yes.
Based on that scene alone.
Pretty much.
If that scene alone, if nothing else happened in that movie,
Yeah.
I'd still probably give it 5 jocks.
Yes. The shit
they-
that gets wrecked in that scene.
has anything ever made The Rock more awesome than that? Not like getting thrown in jail. What he does to fucking Scott Eastwood. Holy Christ! And then the getting out of jail part. He picks a grown man up.
He goes raw and busts out of his chains.
I just have to say, this just brought up all the giddy in me. I love that they just have they just cranked up the superhero on The Rock, broke the fucking knob off, ate the knob.
Not just him, everybody.
Like-
but him especially.
But
Especially The
superhero
Rock.
mode is just in full effect now. It's just like fuck
But
it.
it's always been. It's
Yeah.
always been in Fast and Furious movies.
Not until 5. I mean,
Well, yeah. But
They've always been superhuman in some
Yeah.
way.
I mean,
but
The Rock and Dom were throwing each other through walls in Fast Five. That did happen, but still, nothing on the level of.
I mean, just saying 4 and prior to. I mean, they were doing some crazy shit, but it seemed
Yeah.
like maybe I got hurt at this. We are just in now full on like. There is a point in the prison. I mean, yes, Rock busts out of his chains, which is superhuman enough. But there's a point where he is just straight up sparring with a solid concrete goddamn wall.
Yes.
Just like this is nothing. I am punching as hard as I can.
that's
to
what I
a-
mean. They cranked it up,
Yeah.
broke the knob off, threw it into the sun.
I mean,
They basically turned him into Luke Cage.
Yeah, people hit solid objects like they're nothing
Yeah.
in this. Just, I'm going to punch the shit out of that. Okay.
and he punches the shipping container. Like,
dents it.
I don't know if you've ever tried to punch a shipping container, but I don't fucking recommend it. I don't even punch soft things.
And he is
And it
so
hurts.
huge. You almost wonder, like, did they CG him up? But you're like, no.
Nope,
He
the
is
Rock is
just
just
like
fucking jacked.
Yeah.
he is about as big as a human can get at this point. It feels like,
But, yes.
he's fucking immense.
But like after he's punching the wall, and Jason Statham is mocking the shit out of him, and he darts off frame for a second, and then he rips the desk out of the wall.
A concrete like
bench.
Yeah. And
yeah,
Jason
think of a
Statham's like,
staple, but huge and concrete.
he's like, "Oh, you're awesome. What are you gonna do with that?" And then he just starts doing curls with it.
curling it. Like,
He's sneering and just furiously
and talking shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so good.
But I have to
I think
say,
he
like,
could do that
the
for
second like the shit hits the fan and you hear the doors being opened,
Yeah.
like that, the alarm siren in the prison when
Yes.
it's like, let the chaos ensue. I have not felt that giddy at a prison riot since, honestly, and I know I feel terrible because I know it's not supposed to garner this reaction, but Natural Born Killers, the
Yeah.
prison riot in that
Yeah.
is fucking like blood boiling, like the first time you see it anyway.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my god, I want to be in a prison riot. But, you tell in the same way I want toilet wine.
Yes,
like I
sure.
want to do it, but I don't want to do it.
Absolutely, you just want the experience.
Yeah, like I want to say I've been in a prison riot, and here's the scar.
Yeah,
but
without the whole prison part
right?
of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you want the risk-free version of that experience.
Sure, yeah. But man, when he gets hit with that rubber bullet and it's just like rubber
nope.
bullets, and then takes the gun and is just murdering fools with their rubber bullets.
He breaks that fucking shotgun over that dude.
Yes, yes.
Damn.
God.
Everything in that, Harlow and I were sitting next to
Damn
each other,
it.
and we're just like, oh, the whole time. We're just
When he just kicks that one man in the chest, and that man takes out another man because he's flying through the air like a rag doll.
I have to say, like the what call it testosterone level, whatever you want to call it, the machismo of this movie. There was this little skinny fuck sitting next to me that was just like, I don't understand why people are enjoying this kind of thing. Like fucking hate watching Fate of the Furious. And
Did
I
you
was just
pick
like,
him up and throw
I
him?
I swear I had to like constantly like bring my hand down from like its death claw
Jesus Christ.
phase that I was in, and I was just like, I swear to God, I want to roadhouse your throat right now.
Like,
But, like, when it opens and they start doing a race, and I'm like, oh, really? I thought we'd move past the racing shit. And then the shit that they pull out in that race, I'm like...
that is the stupidest thing in the fucking world, and I loved it.
When he whips that car around because it's on fire and the windshield has melted away, and he whips it around to drive in reverse to win that race, I'm just like, fuck yeah, whatever. This is... I'm so on board with everything this movie has. Bring it on.
I had that. Yeah, I had the same reaction. Like, let's go through Havana, and here's upshot skirts of ladies and all this stuff, and
Dead ass.
And it's like, it's just like, oh,
I was
we're
real worried for.
Well, I'm just saying, we're going
Yeah.
back to this world. Oh no! And then like the race actually started, and even like kind of before that, just like sort of the shit talking, like it's not the car, it's the driver.
Yeah.
all that stuff. I was just like, all of a sudden, it was like the movie was like wrapping me in this warm blanket of like, it's going to be okay. You're going to be enveloped again through the fast. Like you're going to be able to unabashedly love this without having this sad in the background or spoilers and all the shit that we had from 7.
Right.
yeah. And I realized that this movie did the Spectre thing. It's remixing all the stuff from the other movies. Because that's got the street races from the first one. They start out with that. It's got the, here's a billion cars going around creating a diversion from 2.
Oh God!
It's got that. You've got like the harpoon dragging the cars around stuff happens in there. The sub chase is basically might as well be the plane stuff at the end of 6.
Yeah.
They're just like they keep grabbing stuff from all the other ones and using it in this one.
Yeah.
Which is fine when you take ingredients from other dishes and make a new dish out of them.
And that's the thing. They're not.
It works. It's not rehashed. It's It's just
using that scenario in a different way,
Yeah.
which I don't mind. But it was definitely I started noticing it. I'm like, all right, that still works for me.
Yeah. When they started doing the tow cables thing on Dom's car and down to just the sound effect those things make, I'm like, oh, this is specifically to make me remember Fast 5.
Yep.
But I'm like, you know what? Fast 5 is fucking awesome. This is cool. Like, whatever, however they came up with this dumb plan.
well, it's a thing. It's a thing that they they knew they needed to catch him.
Yeah.
They have developed this in universe.
Yeah.
They know how to use these
crazy
tow hooks.
Yeah, made
It's
sense.
part of their shtick now. It's like a signature move.
Yeah.
All right, because you had points you said, I want to talk about that in spoilers. Let's like go around. I feel like we're just like gushing about every single thing. Like, let's get to specifics. Like you said something like, there's a part I want to talk about that you didn't like about Charlize Theron's character? I'm assuming it's the kiss. Is that what it is?
But it's more
The motivation. thing.
killing Elena
Yeah.
Okay.
because
Well, I mean, the kiss was like 100%, like, as Vin Diesel
Yeah.
very rightly pointed out. What was that for? Like,
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
that for me, for her? What the fuck was that for?
yeah, I mean that was her just being evil.
Evil, yeah.
Obviously,
She's a
but-
fucking edgelord. That's what it's for.
Yeah.
You know, she's fucking anonymous super hacker edgelord lady
Bullshit.
Yeah.
dude.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's killing Elena. That's what it was.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Where it's like you're getting rid of all your leverage, and that seems like something that character would not do in that way.
The kid is a lot of leverage, though.
Yeah, the
They both
kid is,
are.
but they both are. And
If you're paying attention to this and you haven't seen it, they've got Elena from
Fast Five.
Yeah.
Fast Five, who is
The Brazilian
birthed-
cop.
the Brazilian cop who has birthed Vin Diesel's child.
Yes, who he was with prior to finding out Letty was still alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I had like
Letty,
That is
who he was
fucked up.
married to, that we didn't know that.
I had almost an aneurysm when she showed up and they were started explaining the backstory. I was like, wait, hold on. And like the entire backstory of the movie was just flooding through my head. It was like, oh yeah, her, and then amnesia, and then
Right.
go
It's like
get her,
fucking Days of Our Lives.
convert her back to original Letty.
And the thing is, she's in 7.
Yeah.
None of that comes up.
No.
Wait,
No.
who's in 7? Elena?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. She's like the Rock's partner or whatever in the beginning of 7.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
So it's like, that part's dumb, and also that baby's ugly. That's an ugly baby. I'm sorry.
I mean,
All right. I thought it was a cute little baby.
a Vin Diesel baby gonna be
It was a good actor.
Unless it was like
CG shit.
Did they
but
use
yeah.
a different baby at the end?
There were
was-
two babies, and they
babies.
weren't twins.
Okay.
The credits had
Yeah,
two
because
babies
the
listed.
baby at the very end, that's the ugly baby. Wow. The one he holds up where like it does the world's most obvious baby naming.
yeah.
Like I'm like as soon as she's like, oh, you get to give him the first name. I'm
Look,
like, gee, I wonder if it'll be Brian.
well,
Look, all right. Wow. Okay. Sauce.
that would have been awesome if they had named him Paul Walker.
I want to show you my baby.
Obviously, you see that coming
Oh, sure.
the entire time.
Yeah.
It still fucking got me.
It got me too. It got me too.
My baby's
I
name
think
is
the-
Fast and Furious.
I think the problem with that baby at the end was that was the scene that Vin wouldn't come out of his trailer for. So the baby had aged so much they had to bring in another baby because you notice in that last scene The Rock is not anywhere to be found except in one cutaway shot when he's by himself.
Yeah. And
That had to have been the scene where he
And-
was like, "You motherfucker."
and Jason Statham is at the barbecue.
of course.
Who killed Han? He fucking killed Han and blew up a goddamn hospital. And they're like, he saved the baby, so
Well,
we're
they
cool
they
now.
all murdered a whole bunch of people in Rio de Janeiro.
Yeah, they did. Yes, people died. I had
Yeah.
I had a problem with the immediate face turn of Jason Statham. How everyone, it's just like it was so fast. It was just like The Rock wants
And
to
furious.
rip his face off, and then he gets the dossier on him where it's like, "Oh, you used to be a good guy." We'll have a joke about how we're going to kill each other, and then it just becomes him and his brother storm the plane, rescue the baby,
But
and it's like
it doesn't happen immediately. Like
it happens real quick. Like
the tough
because
line
Jason Statham dies.
he does.
Well, you think he does, yeah.
Yeah, but
He
the
dies.
face turn happened before that because
Yeah, it was.
The Rock
they
was
were working
punching
on it.
walls
Yeah, The
because
Rock
he
was
was so
pissed.
pissed. Yeah,
But the one that finally cracked him when they were like tough guy lining each other, that's a fucking good one.
oh,
to
it
laugh at.
absolutely.
That's a fucking
Yeah.
bro
Yeah.
the fuck out moment.
I'm just
But
saying,
like
like, I'm
Mackie
gonna punch your teeth so far down your throat, you're gonna have to shove a toothbrush off your ass to brush them.
Yes.
and they just all right.
yeah, it's just a good one. Yeah, but
I
like
wonder
Mackie
if that
said,
actually happened. Like Jason Statham was like,
it did seem like they both were just like, "That's a good line."
okay.
But
Real
yeah, the
friends
fact
now.
that no character's like, he killed Han, and he tried to kill all of us like a fucking shark the last time. Do you not remember that? Yeah, I mean, again, dumb universe. Who cares? By the end, I'm fine with it because everything they had Jason Statham do was fucking awesome. I do remember though, like the shot of the two of them in whatever the personal jets that they're flying in.
Yeah.
As soon as they flew up on screen, I'm like, what? The fuck is happening now? Where did these things come from?
Those are things that exist.
I know, but
They do. I mean, they also live in the same universe where every car has some sort of autopilot thing that cars don't actually have.
yes, yeah,
You know, there's obviously a
Yeah,
ton of
not to
suspicion.
that level.
Not to that level. I mean, they might have automatic parking, not full drive.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
this is a turn your brain off universe.
Absolutely. There are ways to have Jason Statham be in your movie and still be awesome, but not to have him be 180 degree making jokes
like
with a
you
baby.
Fully expect him to be helping them out the next.
Oh, absolutely.
In 9.
Yeah.
I don't care what it takes to get Jason Statham shooting dudes through the fucking airplane with the baby. You can do anything you want as long as you get right there.
I'm fine with that.
God,
That is the kind of shit that we live for.
Yeah. I know.
when that started, and I'm like, oh my God, he's going to be going through the plane with the baby. I was expecting a long take,
Yeah.
just because I mean they're obviously doing the hard boiled thing,
Yeah.
and they even make the pee joke at some point.
Right.
But I was like, the only way that could have been better is if they'd done long take through the plane.
Yeah.
But I think they knew that was like fucking impossible.
I mean, obviously, I should have been thinking it the entire movie, but like when that scene started, I was just like, these are so much better than the Expendables.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
just please don't put them all in there. But
Yeah.
I mean, because obviously when you get all of his egos together, like it doesn't work. A la Expendables 2 and 3.
You got attacked.
Sorry.
the hell?
Art Deco dive bomb.
Just enough wind current brought it down.
Hey, girl.
But I immediately was like, man, like these just do everything I want the Expendables to do better. Except, I mean,
Yeah.
I still like the first one because it was, I don't know.
First one's pretty good.
There's
Well,
some
like-
satisfying shit in that.
and
first
people
one.
tuck their
In that-
egos in their belts for that one. It wasn't like
Yeah.
I was a huge star. It's like you were.
Yeah.
Were being the key word.
So everybody else in this movie was a huge star too.
Yeah.
Fucking get on with it.
Yeah.
Just do cool
you
shit.
you see the depth of the Fast and the Furious cast at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah. Even if like some people are that people, like you go, yeah, it's that girl from Game of Thrones. It's like she's still somebody and she's good. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
you know,
I love the fact that Kurt Russell's in this fucking movie. And
he's so good.
No one talks about Kurt Russell in these movies. Like, it's like...
He was in the last one?
Yeah, but
right?
I remember, like, there was a period of time, I forget which movie it was, but there was a story going around where he was up for some big movie. Might have been one of the earlier, like, Pulp Fiction or something like that. And, like, the famous story is, like, his agent was like, Kurt Russell's not interested in doing ensemble pictures right now. And now that's all he does, and he's great in all of them. Just having him here is just, man, Kurt fucking Russell's in this scene. That's great. And there are, like, 8 other awesome people in the scene with him. Like, he and The Rock are having dialogue. Kurt Russell and The Rock are talking to each other. That's awesome.
I hate to say it, but I mean, like, there's a vast number of people that have just long since turned on this series.
Oh, sure.
And like probably
Idiots.
possibly never even made it to 5, you know, or just can't do the turn off your brain thing. You know, like, and whatever, that's fine. I suspect we're going to have full on Kurt Russell return love when Guardians 2 comes out.
Oh, I'm sure.
Like, I just think that I think people is going to be like, "Oh yeah, he was actually awesome in those too."
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Like, but Guardians of the Galaxy is the thing everyone's going to see and be like, "Holy shit, Kurt Russell's still awesome."
Yeah.
According to the box office, fucking everybody saw this too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Well,
did fucking huge
Not
numbers.
that great here. It did okay here. It was
Worldwide, it did
Yeah.
fucking huge numbers.
Yeah.
But I mean,
It's weird. It's weird, though, that, like, of all the shit they show in the trailers, like, Kurt Russell's not one of those things. You know, I'm not saying, like, he's necessarily a draw, but it's like, of all the spoilery shit they put in Fast and Furious trailers, he is not one of them. Like, I had forgotten, like, when this movie started and his name showed up in the credits, I was like, oh, right, he was in the last one. I guess he's coming back. And, like, you know, that was my, like, that made me a little happier when the movie started. I was like, oh, yeah, Kurt Russell's in these. Yeah, sweet. Although I couldn't remember, wait, did he turn heel at the end of the last? I don't remember.
We
where.
thought, like, we expected him to because Jason Statham somehow magically knew where to show up
Right.
every single time.
Yeah.
And so we're like, man, Kurt Russell must have been feeding him information or something, which obviously wasn't the case, but,
Right.
you know, that was all our assumption.
Yeah.
But
It was even weird, like, when the Jason Statham's brother from 6 showed up. You know, the crowd was, like, totally into. They were just like, "Oh yeah, he is back!" And it's like, "Wait, no, you cheered when he fell out of a plane in 6.
Yeah.
Like, fuck that guy."
and I love that the 2 dudes that nobody remembers from 4 and 5.
huge.
They were billed.
Yeah.
They got credits in
Yeah.
the opening credits.
Yeah.
for
see,
literally
you
showing
had-
up.
You had one other person in the theater. The people in our theater started clapping when
Yeah.
they showed up.
yeah,
Yeah.
People went ape shit.
We had like 3 moments of applause, and that was one of them. When those guys were like, "Hello," we were
Well,
like,
they're like, whoosh,
Yeah.
like, hey,
everyone was like, "Oh my god, yay!"
it's
those
the guy
guys.
that wants to blow up the shitter in 5.
You're right. Yeah. Our crowd was pumped for several bits of that movie and gave that movie applause.
Yeah.
And that was one of those bits. But so like the thing I was talking about, the mid movie action sequence, which is so ridiculous, even though it's a slow burn to the absurdity, to where like
Which is the mid-movie action sequence?
the one where they
the
zombie all the
autonomous
cars.
cars.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. Ah, I love that.
Man, they ramp this up to a point where like I was just like, yeah, okay, they're auto driving some cars, and then realized like, wait, they're auto driving like hundreds of cars, and my brain just switched like, what? Like, it's like up until a point, it was like, oh yeah, this makes sense, and then it was just like hundreds of cars slamming into a wall, making a turn. And I was just like, my god, what's happening? And then like the happening happens with these cars, like point of view of them falling out of this parking garage
Yeah.
down onto the ground. I was just like, this is the most brilliant, dumbest plan I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So in the universe where every car has a thing where you can make it drive itself,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
Accepting that, which is fucking dumb, because it doesn't exist yet. Give it like 10 years.
These movies are way in the future.
Right. They're in the faraway future of 2017.
Yes.
But I loved everything about that. Like it looked so good just to have all these mindless cars just crashing into everything.
And that
And
one
making
shot
chaos.
where there's like just like they turn this corner and all the cars can't make
Yeah,
the corner, and there's just like this
A wave,
pile
yeah.
of them going at 100 miles an hour barreling into this building.
Harlow and I kind of looked at each other at that point. We're just like, what? This is fucking insane.
Yeah. Yeah, and then he gets to Jack Bauer, that limo,
Yeah.
wearing the exact outfit Jack Bauer had.
I didn't even have the momentary. I was like, "Fuck yes, do it."
Yeah.
Anytime
that's what I'm saying.
anytime somebody comes out in full like bulletproof armor with a shield, I'm like, yes.
I love that the guy was just undeterred, firing his entire magazine into Vin Diesel and not varying his shot in any way. Just and just like shit. And then Vin Diesel was just gonna light that car on fire,
Yep.
throw a flare in the gas tank. I will say that like getting the whole like nuclear codes just to launch things off that satellite or off that submarine, that makes zero sense. Like
Yeah.
the codes would be for all kinds of nuclear weapons, not for one submarine.
Okay,
But if you have the computer, can you launch the other ones? Maybe.
that's the thing. I don't think
Yeah.
you can. I don't know if you can launch the other ones, but if they have several nukes on a
Yeah.
submarine, then
But I mean, isn't it like a closed circuit thing? Like this submarine can like radio the other one with the secret codes that say yes, launch a nuke to the other one without them knowing it.
I don't think they ever made
yeah, I don't
any
know.
I mean,
of this
I'm
clear.
just going like Crimson Tide shit, where
Yeah.
it's like this is the go code, and well, we're not real sure.
Yeah, you got to
know,
break those things open
Right.
and look at the codes. But
and they have the go codes.
yeah, but like her whole motivation. At one point, she summed it up like, "Well, when the superpowers start doing super shit, I'll be there with these nukes." And it's like, what?
Yeah.
just like a
It's-
fucking edgelord, no
I
fucking
mean, it's
idea
like-
about the end
Yeah,
game.
it's that real flimsy, like, oh, the bad guy thinks they're the good guy.
Yeah.
You know, like, I get that, but again, this goes back to the whole,
Yeah.
hey, we got nothing in common, but we have good sex.
Yeah, it just
Thing where like that shit's just dumb. And there was a point I really wanted Vin Diesel, like the way that scene plays out too, because they've just killed Elena.
Yeah.
And she's giving him this bullshit, blah blah blah. I was expecting him to just be like, just shut the fuck up, you know, just anything like that, and he doesn't. But that is when he gets to the good, where he's just like, you better kiss that kid, because that's the only reason you're still alive and this plane's still in the sky. And I was
Yeah.
like, good, you saved that one.
yes,
And then you saved your shit talking for the very end in the car.
yeah. When he decides to rejoin his comrades at the end
Yeah.
of this movie and just fucking launches off this mountain, I'm just like, yeah, whatever. Just go do that. It had already been 10 minutes of yeah, whatever. Anyway, with the Rock fucking
45.
moving a
Yeah,
torpedo.
I was about to say like, that to me is one of the greatest things ever. Where
He's the goddamn Rock. He can do that.
I don't. I love that someone on Twitter commented at the U.S. Navy, like, "Hey, could The Rock really move a torpedo with his hands? And The Rock immediately busted in and was like, yes, because I'm the fucking Rock.
Did he?
Yeah.
He didn't curse, but he was basically like, yes, because I am The Rock and I am awesome.
Good for him.
Yeah, he shut that shit down before the Navy could even respond. He was just like, yes, because I am The Rock. So,
You were.
I was going to bring that scene up, but
Oh, yeah.
it just kind of got tossed in there. Mm-hmm. That was one of my. I mean, that was like my clinching moment. Like that was the like, all right, you know, like I've loved everything up to this, but like when The Rock turns a moving torpedo with sheer will, I was like, I love this. They're
yeah, he kind of yelled at it a little bit and went, rah.
yeah.
Way.
Steered it away.
Yeah. It's
Yeah, it's when I started thinking about the little things. Like to me, I like the plane sequence. Don't get me wrong, I like the plane sequence at the end of 6. It's
The 27-mile runway.
Yeah, it's dumb, but I mean, you get the combo move, Rock, Vin Diesel, clothesline,
Yeah.
crazy shit.
Oh, I
like
forgot
you
about
get
that.
all of that, and then you have the subway fight with like who was it? It was Letty
Gina Carano.
Yeah, Gina Carano.
Oh, yeah.
yeah. Like there's really good stuff in 6, and it's like, but there are the high points of this one to me are higher. Like I mean, I think about that prison sequence, and to me, the prison sequence alone blows, not in terms of scale, but it blows the plane thing out of the water, just in terms of like awesome in a confined moment of the movie.
yeah.
And it's just the little things. I was like, this is. I think if I rewatch this one, might get even closer to 5. It's not going to overtake 5, I don't think. But I mean, it's just like I think it's getting closer the more I think about it. Because like, I mean, there's so much going on in this movie. If it hadn't been for chat, I fucking forgot Helen Mirren's in this goddamn movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's just like there's so much going on in these movies at this
Yeah.
point.
I had forgotten that it was actually happening.
Yeah.
I remembered hearing it rumored way back when, but I had totally forgotten that they actually got her to do that.
I mean, that's
To play their mom. It's so
It's such a good get.
I guess
for
it's like,
such a small part.
yeah.
if I was like, if I was invested in them and they were remotely good, it'd be kind of like I would have the same reaction of like, holy shit, you got Anthony Hopkins for a Transformers movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, but like the Transformers movies suck ass. So and there's nothing fun about them. That is
No.
the throw everything at the screen and you know just turn your brain off and be bombarded by CGI. You know, that's in the wrong direction for me.
Those movies also have a history, though, of getting people who
I
have
know.
no business being
Yeah.
in Transformers movies.
Sure, but I mean, like to me,
Yeah,
they shouldn't increase.
Oh,
I mean,
no.
you shouldn't go from like John Turturro, yeah, okay, that's a little weird, to like Kelsey Grammer, all right, that's yeah, he probably
Transformers-
doesn't have a lot going on right now. And then
Yeah.
you jump to fucking Anthony Hopkins, like the fuck is happening? Like,
I think they're really good at targeting people who like want a new house
Sure.
or a new
Yeah.
boat. Like they might. I
What's
wouldn't
your
be
boat
surprised
situation like?
if they looked up. They're like, how long has Anthony Hopkins lived in his house? Mm-hmm. Do you think he's happy in that house?
Probably not.
Do you think he wants a bigger house?
Probably does.
And then they go after that. Like, there's got to be something they're doing
Oh, sure.
in that way because, like, why the fuck else would you be in a Transformers movie?
Money.
Yeah,
Pure money.
yeah.
I don't know. Like, well, I mean, they just like, hey, we've got an easy shooting schedule for you. You're going to make a bunch of money. You can have fun with this character. We'll let you, we'll let you improv a shit ton. You'll get to hang out with Mark Wahlberg for a little while.
Who doesn't want to do that?
Big robots.
yeah, I just think, I mean, it's weird for me for some of the caliber of actors that are getting into the things that they're getting into.
Yeah.
Like, if Universal has their way, it's very weird to me that Tom Cruise agreed to be in that Mummy movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, either he's not going to make it to the end, or he's very willing to go and do all of this other crazy.
I think he's in. If
you
they
know,
make that
Universal Cinematic Monsters universe,
I think
thing.
if they make that a universe, I think he's in for the long haul.
I'm just saying that's a weird thing. I mean, like,
I think because he knows he'll still be the biggest star in all of them.
Yeah.
sure,
I think
I
that's
suppose.
the biggest part of it.
yeah,
And he
get,
you
get,
wouldn't have
get
to-
in first, and I'll basically Tony Stark this whole thing.
And he wouldn't have to carry the rest of them. He
Yeah.
can just wander in and out and be Tom Cruise. But
Yeah.
I there's the submarine chase at the end of this movie is not the best ending of the Fast Five or the Fast and Furious movies, and it's not even the best action scene in this movie. I think
Yeah.
there are several others that are better. I love that we're talking about all the action scenes in this movie, and then there's like one with the whole like wrecking ball thing that happens so quickly without any planning
That's in the
whatsoever.
beginning of the movie.
Yeah,
they
where
just jump right into the
they're
middle
like,
of the mission.
We got a gig, and then it just cuts straight to that, where it's just like,
Oh,
okay,
they're just riding out of the side.
yeah,
Of like,
just
mission
unleash,
accomplished.
yeah, just unleash hell, and here comes the wrecking ball, and it's like that scene starts and ends so quickly. You don't even really have time to register it as an action scene, whereas like in the previous movies, they would have had 20 minutes of planning and doing computer simulations and all that weird stuff. Even that scene by itself is great, but it's like it was a good minute into it where I was like, oh, wait, this is happening now.
Yeah, the great thing about that is they have set up a universe where you just know that they do this shit now. That's just what they do.
Yep.
They're good at it. They're going to succeed. They've got all the tools and resources they need to make this happen, and they're just going to show you where the drama is and let you imagine the rest that happen.
Yeah.
And that is a really brilliant thing for, again, for this big dumb movie. It does some really brilliant stuff, and that's one of them.
Yeah.
Real quick, Mark 48 torpedo, y'all,
Yes.
is about 3,600 pounds,
Okay.
which is about as much as my car weighs.
Okay.
So if you send my car careening on a very small surface area on ice, I think The Rock has no problem whipping that sumbitch around.
I agree.
So,
I don't have a problem with
It already had momentum.
Yeah.
yep. Especially Fast and Furious The Rock, who is, as we've established, superhuman.
He didn't redirect it drastically.
No, he
It
just
was
moved it enough.
Just a couple of degrees. He moved it enough to not damage the friendly car and damage the enemy car. So,
Yeah, I love the geography of that end part where it's like suddenly, do you need them to be behind everyone? All right.
yeah.
Just like, oh, here comes the Rock from the left over there.
Oh, when he crashes into that thing sideways and just like, nope. And then immediately he's back with the pack, like right where they are. It's like,
Yeah.
wait a minute. Where was he?
I want to point out one sort of meta thing and ask. I'm kind of asking the crowd out there if they've already noticed this already, or if I'm just picking this up based on the last two movies. F. Gary Gray. I'm curious if my observation is correct in that he is slipping a single line of dialogue from Friday into each one of his other movies.
You think?
Well, because all right, I think most of us have seen it now, or whatever. I don't know. There's a line in Straight Outta Compton that is dropped, and it's kind of like it fits because it's like it's an origin thing for a movie that is also sort of talked about inside that movie that he made. So it's a weird meta thing there. But in this one, there is a point where Tyrese and Ludacris are arguing with Game of Thrones girl, and he's like so says something like I'll marry you, like, and it's so good because like you kind of forget that Tej's name is Tej Parker, and he goes like hey Miss Parker.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's a line from Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that...
Yeah, I mean, he even leans over like they do.
No,
in Friday.
I'm not. I think that would be a ludicrous thing. I forget what his in universe name is.
Tej Parker.
Tej Parker. That you just said it. I think that would be a thing that he would reference. Like,
yeah, but it's also F. Gary Gray is the director. I don't know.
I mean, they're not going to spend 8 movies setting up a "Hey, Miss Parker" joke.
No, I'm just saying. I think it's a happy coincidence where he was like, "Oh shit, okay, I got this."
I think someone on set realized it, whether it was Ludacris or F. Gary Gray, and they were just like, you know what? I should probably say it.
Yeah, I'm sure I could watch. I know Friday inside and out. I need to watch one other movie, and I can prove if this is a new thing or if he's been doing this all along.
Yeah.
Secretly, F. Gary Gray.
Let me know if he says it in the negotiator.
I'm just saying, like, yeah, negotiator, law-abiding citizen. I can watch one of these and just go like, yeah, there it is. There's the Friday line.
Okay.
I'm sure it's in the trivia on IMDb.
Maybe.
I'm throwing it out there before, in case someone already knows, and I don't have to do this research. But thing I noticed.
Good catch. I would not have caught that. Now that you say it, I remember it, but at the time, no. So.
But yeah, it's another good Fast and Furious movie.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that it... I don't want to say turned around after 7, but 7 started to go in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
Yes.
So...
But
I'm glad that they... It wasn't bad.
No, but...
I'm just glad that they brought it back in this direction.
You realize what they had to do with 7 because of what happened to Paul Walker.
Yes.
And you know that just threw everything into chaos.
But the rest of the movie, like...
Well, James Wan was the wrong type of director to do this movie.
Yeah.
1. 2, you have the unfortunate real life events colliding with the movie,
Right.
thus forcing their hand to change everything.
Yeah.
And 3, fuck the marketing people. They spoiled every good
they
bit of
did.
thing in the previews.
Yeah.
And they were everywhere.
They
so like
blanketed
you
everywhere
couldn't
with it.
not see Rock with the minigun.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's the best part
would
of
have
the finale.
to you would
of
have
that
to
movie.
strike yourself dumb and blind.
Yeah.
You know,
And
deaf, dumb, and
Daddy's
blind.
home, like, or Daddy's got to go to work.
Yeah.
Like, we shouldn't have seen that.
No.
Yeah,
him-
and that's the and the minigun thing is the only memorable thing from the end sequence of
Yeah.
that. Because weren't they like running from drones or something?
Yeah, they were in LA and running, and drones were chasing them, and
Yeah.
Dom was fighting with Jason.
Oh, that's
Statham
right, yeah,
in
he
a
fights him on-
parking
yeah.
garage or something, and it was just like, yeah,
Yeah, I'm just saying it was just a bad
Yeah.
all around, like bad things happening all around to kind of force their hand in that just it's not bad, it's just it's much less than, and there's a lot of things wrong with it, you know.
I love that Seven made a big deal about The Rock flexing out of the cast and being okay, and everyone was like, "What? That's outrageous!" And in this, he just rips out of his prison chains, and no one said shit.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. I think at this point you either have to accept it or just not
Yeah.
watch them and shut up about them and
Yeah.
let people have their fun.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
really the rule.
You're
and
absolutely
like I said, if people are legitimately having fun with the Transformer movies, great.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Someone
Yeah.
apparently is, because they're making a fuck ton of money.
They
Keep seeing
make
'em.
again. They make a shitload of money in like China and stuff.
Sure, but those people are having fun. Apparently,
Yeah.
someone's having fun.
Yeah.
Last thing I'll say about it, and it was something I brought up when we were not spoiling it, like not knowing where the motivation for Dom to turn was going, I was worried that they were going to do something like, we kidnapped Brian, and we're
I
going
was
to kill.
Oh, Lord.
I was terrified of that.
I was like,
yeah.
please don't drag them into, don't kill them off screen. Just, and I almost cringed like later when they brought it up, like Brian would know what to
yeah,
do.
Letty was like,
Yeah, I was like, no, come on, movies, just don't, please don't keep bringing them up, because it's only going to get worse.
That was, I think, a good way to cut it short. Like,
Maybe, yeah,
because people are still.
Yeah, because in universe they're still alive, so they have to have the reason.
Right.
that
and also
they're
like
not.
when essentially your two leaders are now gone. You're in as deep a chaos as you can possibly be.
yeah,
Like I mean, you are a ship adrift without your captains,
Right.
and so like for them to call on say the other captain, and even this be the reason, like now you never need to mention Brian and Mia ever again.
True.
Because
Right.
like if this is your worst peril,
True.
you're done. Like in the
Absolutely.
future, it's not like
Yeah.
why don't they just call the rest of the Avengers? No. If you didn't call them now, Brian and Mia are never coming back, which they obviously are not.
that's what I was worried that the motivation was, is that they were going to finally.
I think that's why they did it.
No, I know, but that's what I was like, oh God, if this is about her killing the two of them off to finally get them completely out of the universe, I was cringing at the thought of that.
Yeah, I
I,
was too.
wasn't expecting Elena to show up at all. Like,
No.
I had completely forgotten about her character, to be honest, even though she's in 3 of these movies. I just figured, like, well, she went away. That's the end of her. When, like, they revealed her, I was like, oh, wait.
4 of the movies.
Yeah, that's
5,
right.
6, 7, 8.
Yeah. But yeah, like when they turned the light on, I was like, wait. Oh, okay. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, it's great.
Yeah, so that worked.
Yes.
That worked in a way that I was glad for,
Yeah.
because I was very worried about his heel turn being stupid, basically.
Yeah. But no, they did
Though
it-
him not telling Letty anything,
Yeah. Yeah.
he had 30 seconds to be like, I have a kid, they have the kid. That's why I'm doing this.
Yeah.
Who cares? Like,
I know. Yeah.
So anyway,
It's real good. Everyone should go see it. The end.
Yep.
5 jocks.
Oh, easily.
yeah.
5,000 jocks.
Absolutely. He got 5 jocks after the cold open.
It gets 4 Fast Fives, but only Fast 5 can have 5 Fast Fives.
Okay.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Right.
You're right.
My head.
Man. Our new
I'm just saying.
podcast is
I'm just saying.
strange.
It's very close to me. It's creeping real close to Fast 5 territory.
I agree with you. It's just not Fast 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In a surprising turn of events, talking about a movie afterwards, with you guys has elevated my opinion quite well, or quite highly.
Yeah.
It's done good, make movie better.
Yeah? I mean, okay.
Here's the
Running
thing.
out of words.
Here's the way I look at it, and last I'll say about any Fast and the deal with Fast 5, and like you might be thinking like, why do we heap so much praise upon that one?
It's awesome.
It is awesome. I'll finish this. Like, it was such a 180 from for the series.
Yeah.
That, like, you could argue this one might be more fun. I mean, go with me for a second. Like, if you saw this one first, you'd be like, what are you talking about? Fast 5 barely did anything compared to this. Like, this was all over the place and Rock going crazy and da-da-da-da. And I think it's just because, like, seeing that at the time, and it's like, you weren't expecting that. I mean, like, really all we went into Fast 5 knowing was like, wow, they're still doing Fast and the Furious movies. All right. And now it's got The Rock in it. Okay, well, that makes me want to see it. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden it's like, I was not expecting this. Like, I was hoping for, like, something on the level of, like, The Rundown. Like, this could be fun, and now The Rock's in it. You know, like, you just don't expect him to, like, walk onto the screen and fucking own that movie the way he does the second he shows up.
We thought the safe chase was going to be like a 5-minute thing, and then it's over. And it's like a 20-minute sequence.
It just
that
goes.
just keeps being awesome.
And so that's what I'm saying. Like, I think for us, like, there's never going to be any, like, they could do the most amazing thing and it still might not beat Fast 5 just because that moment where you're like, shit, like, not expecting this. Like, at this point, we're fully expecting the Fast and Furious movies to go crazier and crazier. That's not the issue.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's just that moment of, like, oh my God.
Yeah,
totally
and-
not expecting this out of this.
And I'm not sure. I mean, there's people that prefer 6 over 5, and I wonder if they saw 6 first. You know?
Yeah.
Because I'm sure there is a bit of that, you know, which one did you see first? That's the one you like more. You know, it's a lot like with Bond movies. Like, which was your first Bond? People tend to gravitate towards the first Bond that they saw.
Right.
As their favorite, as opposed to,
Yeah.
you know.
I fully admit that some of it is deserved by the film itself. Fast 5 is a great motion picture. But the fact that I went to the theater with you guys, it was like the first time we hung out socially, and I went into it like, the Fast and Furious movies suck ass. I fucking hate them. But I'll go and I'll hang out with my friends and have a good time, and The Rock's in it, so it might be okay. And then just sitting there like, what's happening? This is the best dumb thing I've ever seen. That experience helped and has been with me every time I've watched it since. I've never watched it since and not been like, man, I had such a good time watching this, and I'm having a good time watching it now. And they throw each other through walls, and then at the end, like, you know, after they get attacked by everybody, they have the cool handshake, and that's the bet. Like, I almost in the theater jumped up and went, yes. I mean, that's the best.
I can't think of any other movie series that went on as long as that and then 180'd so hard. And I mean, in retrospect, you can go back and watch the first 4 and be like, all right, they're not awful if you think in terms of building towards this.
Correct.
I'm just thinking, like, let's say for me, like, Justice League 2 comes out and suddenly it's like, holy fuck, this is what this should have been all the whole time.
Yeah.
I don't think I could ever go back to, like, Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, and what looks like a piece of shit in the first Justice League movie and go, well, I just wasn't seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, like, you know, thing. Like, it would it would have to be fucking amazing, and that's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
And James Bond started off good, so you can't say that. They got shitty in points, but there was never like you could argue Casino Royale, if you like the Daniel Craig thing, was a change because we'd had so many shitty Bond movies for so long.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about the closest you could get.
Yeah. I just look at the first 4 Fast and the Furious movies like the made-for-cable prequels, you know, the backstory, the exposition, the character development type stuff, and then you get to 5, which is just the superhero movie, and everything since is just like, this is crazy shit. You remember that they're friends because in 1 and 2 they hung out together, and now they're just a team and they go do superhero shit. So
Yeah. Anywho, all right, we're done. Okay, just stop talking about this.
Yeah.
We've talked about fast movies so long, so many times, but
we like them.
yeah,
They're good.
I figured it was like someone might be going, why Fast 5? Like, why that one? I mean, that's why.
No.
It's because it's
You
great.
know, it's just a phenomenon that can't happen again.
Yeah.
Lightning in a bottle.
Although if these movies go to space, oh my god.
Apparently, it's going to end like 10 is going to be the last.
I can
So-
see that.
If they go to space, Fast 10, 9,
They're
8, 7.
There's a producer who has been the only guy who has been involved in every single movie. And he said, I don't know where the fuck people got the whole space thing, because no.
I know.
Because all
never
long-running
been a-
series
I'm just-
go to
we
space.
want
I
them
was
to
just
go to
naming
space.
He's like, I don't know where it's coming from, but no.
I was just
No.
naming it in case it does go there.
Yeah.
It'd be
How do
funny
you-
to call it Fast 10, 9, 8, 7.
How do you get faster than, you know,
Light.
space shuttle that's like 17.
You got to get Furious.
Nice.
Give us some contact info.
Oh,
gotta get outta here.
BMFcast.com, man. Hit the buttons on the right-hand side. Do the things. 910-5-JOCKS-BMF, 910-556-9263. I usually say 0.
I know, you said 910. I was like, wait, huh?
Where's that?
I think I used to say 910.
Oh.
And then I corrected it to 910-556-9263.
Very nice.
Or 5JOCKS-BMF. Whatever. Anyway, give us a call. Email us, BMFcast.com. Yeah, we'll see you later.
All right.
Sounds
Go
good.
watch Fate of the Furious because it's fucking awesome. And John Wick.
Well, let's get out of here, shall we?
Okay.
I'm Harlow.
I'm Mackie.
I'm BJ.
I'm Chuck.
And this is BMFcast out.
Good
Bye,
night.
motherfuckers.
Is Sean the kid from X Files? I'm just gonna continue
Yeah.
to call him for that.
Sling Blade.
I know it's more fun to say the kid
As I-
from X Files, though.
As I told Chuck earlier today, I called him Tokyo Drift.
Yeah. Well, I've heard he's coming back for the next one.
He was supposed to come back for this one. I
Oh.
believe he was supposed to be the Scott Eastwood role. But he was like, nah, I got this TV show, so...
We didn't even really talk about Scott Eastwood, who I thought was a really acceptable, like...
Yeah. He's no Paul Walker.
As the new white guy of the series.
Yeah.
Well, the new cop turned rogue.
As
Yeah,
the
sure,
new,
yeah.
as the new milquetoast.
Yeah. Hi guys, I'm white pretty boy.
Yeah.
Hey, it's
And I
BJ's
thought they
back.
treated him well, like he wasn't treated well.
Bye,
in his
everyone.
Character.